Just getting U.S. initial jobless claims data here coming through for last week. U.S. unit labor costs, 5.7%. That's well above the 2.2% increase that was expected there. The actual number, U.S. initial jobless claims, 228,000, downside ever so slightly versus 241 last week. 230 was the expectation there. So again, 228,000 the number. Week over week, 1.879 million, meanwhile, on the continuing claims. 1.895 million, the expectation for continuing claims last week versus a print of 1.91, remember, going back to last week. That's really it as far as economic data. There's some wholesale inventory numbers coming up at 10 o'clock this morning. We get natural gas at 10:30, and then I was just mentioning to Sharif, all of the Fed speakers coming through. I'm not even joking. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Fed speakers due to make some comments tomorrow. So heads up for that. There's NVAX, big pop to the upside here, 32% right now. They just reported earnings better than expected, beating right across the board. Ton of things moving around individually this morning. I was keeping an eye on Tesla was trying to get going through 280. Yeah, we're above it now and trying to tick a little bit higher. But if you missed it, big headline this morning, US-UK trade deal is apparently done. We'll hear more about it coming up at 10 o'clock this morning. Semiconductors to the upside on that note we got late in the day yesterday. These restrictions going to be lifted, apparently. We'll see if we get, I'm sure if there's any kind of question and answer period at this press conference this morning, of course there's going to be questions about some of these restrictions, but there's NVIDIA 1.8%, big move late in the day yesterday on that headline. I mean, all of them up here, AMD. Intel has its own news today, but also nice look here, 2.75%. Lots to deal with.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions I want answered about this chip restrictions. Which ones are going to remain on the banned list, Brendo? Are they going to be able to export the H100? Yeah. Is the H20 back on the table? So a lot of questions I'm sure they're going to ask him. So lots to talk about today, guys. As Brendo mentioned, Intel with its own headline today, looking at making a deal with Microsoft. Microsoft might be interested in getting into the foundry business, at least on a partnership basis with Intel. Bitcoin knocking the door of 100,000 yet again. I think it breached it momentarily overnight.
You still have time.
For my bet with Joe. There it is. ARM reporting, Brendo, down 8%. Lots to talk about. Carvana, AppLovin as well did report, and Fortnite also downside here. A lot of earnings names still.
Yeah, it's not all good. As you mentioned, ARM, better part of 8% here to the downside, well off the lows though. I mean, it's gone $5 back higher right now, back to 115. NVAX still flying around here, I'm hearing as well, back down a little bit. Yeah, $8 rejecting here, but huge move, 30% for NVAX to start things off here, guys. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. It's not just NVAX. You've got the quant names going too. QBTS, D-Wave up 27%. So look, it's not an all clear for the chips, but it's.
I just want to play Fortnite now.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know Fortnite reported.
Fortnite's better than how Fortinet ended up.
Yeah, Fortnite down 9%. That was funny when Sharif mentioned.
Yeah, well, I'll probably say it a couple times here today. But hopefully we'll say 100K a bunch of times today. Yeah. That's what I'd like to. I'm very, very surprised. I really thought this was going to break through. Like, how are we getting there in the pre-market and then we're not breaking? It was like 99.91 something, I think might be the local high. So Sharif, just got up, but I don't think we can get to 125 for his birthday because that's literally in a week. So that's probably not happening. But, a couple of weeks. His
birthday was near the end.
A couple of weeks. But either way, this break is very impressive on Bitcoin. And once you get through 100, again, it's just this 109 top that we've got left in there. So shout out to Michael Saylor. He's got to be a very happy man. The only people not happy this morning are ARM shareholders, like me. No, I am in a good mood, but ARM not too good.
Yeah, ARM and Google. Google battling back a little bit there last night.
3 points.
The double Toronto wins last night. I was at the girls' game, and then so they won as well. That was a packed house, 10,000. Oh, the food is now here. All right. I saw Sharif with the eggs yesterday. I was like, where did all the eggs go?
Oh boy.
This guy's too much, man. I don't even know how many there was there, but it was good. Glad to hear. We do have We do have an issue here today as the water in the building is being, the plumbing is being worked on.
Yeah.
So I don't think it'll last that long.
Well,
I
right,
think
it's
it'll probably
still
be
on right now.
It'll probably be fixed
caused
as soon as they try.
They did it before. It was only a couple hours.
Yeah, so we've been warned that if we're going to use the bathroom, we have to run to Tim Hortons. That's not happening.
We could do with the old school. We could in the old school. You fill up some buckets while the water's still working. And
Fill up
then,
some buckets. Yeah, no, we're not doing that. We're not. This water will be completely fine.
it keeps it real.
I'll just wait. I'll just go to the gym, I guess, if I have to go do something. But that's
No, whatever. It'll be done. By the time we're done the morning show, they'll be done. So.
4-3 Maple Leafs are over. A course hits. And I said thank you to Joe. I want him to keep on saying the Leafs are going to lose, and that we've already talked about it.
So
he's down with
good.
that.
He was solid.
Yeah, no, it was solid. I mean, I didn't, like I said, I just saw the highlights, but they were down 1-0, 1-1, down 2-1.
I saw the
2-2.
Third.
Yeah.
They're blocking half the shot attempts are getting blocked anyway. The defense has been unbelievable. That's one of my favorite things to watch in playoff hockey. It's the biggest difference when things are when everything's on the line is the blocking of the shots. Like in the regular season, dudes aren't throwing their bodies recklessly in front of a slap shot, but it's just a different. It's like they're just out there like taking.
It's the hardest championship to win.
I love it. In the heart's there, and the city's going to be happy with it. But the market's looking fantastic as well. So it's all systems
going
go.
back now, up 1%. But yeah, it's going to be a good one there. I don't know. I was thinking about I saw that Denver OKC game. It was 40 points or something in the fourth quarter. I was just like, yikes. It's nice to go to a game and have your home team win, but I'm thinking it's already over at halftime and you paid all this money. I mean, it's great. I mean, you'd rather go to see your team win than lose.
Yeah, it's better the other side of it, right? Like, imagine.
I was saying to Marissa, I was like, this will be a fun game to be at in the beginning but then the whole second half, you're kind of just it's like going to a Jays game, letting that bullpen get in there. I saw Hoffman yesterday. That guy got rocked, didn't he, last night? Right.
Overworking you overwork your pen early, which our manager was not smart with them. He was using and now all of them are already.
Because Hoffman's great.
He's great,
right,
but overworked and he's being beat up. But that's what happens, man.
Are they going to be a 500 team or what? More than 82 wins? What do you think? I think they're 5 under.
They hit basically I think they're a barely 500 team if the hitting performs the way it should, which it's not holding up their end of the bargain. Yeah. That's sort of it. Whatever. They're good enough to maybe make the playoffs. They're like in what's a good example?
They're in purgatory, right? They're not really that bad, but they're not that great.
Not really that good.
And then they're in the AL East. I don't know. It's so much. It's nice when the Jays are a competitive team, and I think they will be eventually this year. So
you're right. That market.
We don't have a very good. We don't have a very good farm system right now, do we?
No. We have one guy that'll be legit though.
Okay. Do we have that Indian guy?
Dude, Arjun is going to be legit.
Yeah.
When I was at spring training, all you had to do was hear the sound off this kid's bat. 19.
How come there isn't more South Asians in all of sports? I was actually thinking about that. Hockey, we had that Manny Malhotra. We have this guy in baseball. There's not really anybody in basketball. Anyways, maybe that's
cricket's the biggest sport.
Oh, yeah. No, soccer. No, I just meant I'm just thinking about it on top of my head. Because we talked about that Blue Jays guy, and I know that he was one of the first ones drafted.
Exactly.
From the regions.
It's only a matter of time before you get that expansion of talent.
For sure.
It happens in all the sports. It just happens at different paces. But
apparently Neil's
I wasn't meaning to go to Palantir, but
anyways, we'll fix your mic.
No, well, my mic is bad again.
Okay. Well, apparently some people saying your mic is having some issues, but that's okay. Yeah. All right. So look, we're excited today. There's going to be some small cap runners going around. We do have Luis Barbado coming from Barcelona, so we're always excited to hear that, gentleman. And again, you want to talk about somebody. These guys have built up their own sort of algos, their own systems to scan for stocks, to trade stocks, to look at different opportunities, and this is what's really required. Honestly, this is why Luis, he could tell us probably 10, 15 years plus maybe running his office, and it's about the consistency and getting a plan and getting a strategy down and knowing what you want to trade and sort of sticking with all of that, and it's been working for years and years and years. I have to say decades probably for Luis there. So a good friend of mine. and a good friend of Real Trading for sure. So he's going to be coming up momentarily, talk about some small caps, what's running around. I was just looking at the NASDAQ right here, and I don't know, we're falling out of
Really
bed.
falling here.
Right now. So I'm not sure if there's, we did have the number came out. There wasn't too much reaction to that, but there it is. Now we're making that move down. I was trying to watch out for AMD and see, what was slipping up. Yesterday we had some dramatic moves in Apple midday as their $20 billion that they get just a check written. See if my charts don't change. Apple gets a check written to them by Google for $20 billion, which is a fifth of their service revenues. Yeah, and that's basically gone now, apparently, according to some sort of a judge over there. Let's just keep on hating. Let's just have American judges hate on American companies. That's the best way to do business, I think.
Let's just hurt them both in one stroke of a pen.
And then, of course, DJ Donald John. I keep saying DJ TJ because that's his son. But he comes out and calls Powell a fool again. So here we go. So, last week he was something else. This week he's a fool. And I'm sure he'll like everybody in England, wink, wink, potential trade deal coming at 10 o'clock as they cut rates. So now they're all friendly. And then Mark Carney and Trump are sitting around, and the guy's like 51st stage. Carney's like, nope, that's not happening. He's like, okay. So I think this is fun, man. I think Donald is having a great time doing all of this, and I can't wait to 10 o'clock today. We'll hear about this announcement with the UK, so that should be really good. The market was reacting positively to it, and it still is.
We're still up, but yeah, you know what? I actually wish you would do it in the afternoon, but 10 o'clock is fine. It's just, you get right out of that morning rush and you get that headline risk because at 10 o'clock, you're always in that's the time that you're usually in some stuff. You don't want that shock. You'd rather be riding a wave and it's already trending as opposed to just working into positions. But we're expecting, and he could still say something about this, about the chips. He could say something about China. Oh, yeah. That's where we want to.
At all times, he's going to be saying something. Good. But look,
what if he talks trash about this recent Apple Google nonsense?
He's supposed to like Apple, remember the 500 million?
It'd be interesting if he did. If he opined on that, saying it was unfair, like anything along those lines could move those stocks.
I mean, Google's up 3%, which is really nice. I'm probably going to be selling into some strength here if we can get it for Google. I think Google, the day of their reign, I think is over. I think it's still a really strong company. I still own it. I haven't sold anything, but that's a big change, man. That is a big change. But look, to Donald's credit and to the United States and what they're doing, if they can get some trade deals done, fix the trade balance. I mean, this is exactly the point of what this administration is trying to do. So I applaud that. If they can get some deals done, that is absolutely fantastic. And the market seems to be fine. I mean, we're not even that far away. I mean, we're still, what is it, 8% away or something from all-time highs? So we still have some ways to go. But honestly, to get this all corrected back makes sense if that's what they're trying to do. So congratulations to the United States and to Donald Trump's administration for this first deal, which apparently is going to get announced at 10 o'clock. So I'm excited for that one. Google now up 3%, looking like it wants to go a little bit here through 155. So, all right, that's a good couple minutes there. I hope you guys enjoyed some of that. And now we'll go back over and enjoy the real stuff at the big desk.
That move down there in the market as a part of this U.S.-UK deal. CNN reporting the 10% U.S. tariff going to stay in place as a part of this deal. So that caused that move down there in the market. Again, U.S.-UK trade pact will leave the 10% U.S. tariff in place, as the guys are mentioning there. We shall learn more coming up at 10 o'clock this morning. Let's bring in Luis Barbado from the Real Trading office over in Barcelona. Good morning, Luis. How are you?
Good morning, Brendan. Very good. Thank you.
Good to see you. Lots to discuss here. Lots flying around both directions, actually. I want to get your take on a few of these that are downside this morning that have been up the past few days. We'll start with one that's leading the charge here so far this morning. What is the actual company called? Asset Entities Incorporated. I just realized this is actually not a small company. I mean, the market cap is relatively small, but 12.5 million float on this, looking at a day two type of thing here.
Yeah, as you say, day two type. It was a runner yesterday, also ignited by the Halt Fest. Remember, it closed below 70 cents the day before. So yesterday we have a halt rule, halt policy. So it was halted every time it moved 10% or 15 cents. So we were in a halt fast. It was all the way up, halted. It was very difficult to trade, actually. And that was probably one of the reasons together with the high volume and rotation float and news and everything, because it was going up so much. Today is gapping up, but we see a little bit of weakness pre-market, and it's trading below VWAP for the first time. So let's see if shorts can take the power here and trade below VWAP during the pre-market left, and of course after it opens. If it fails VWAP and we don't see any more momentum coming in, we will look for shorts. And if you check at the chart on this one, I'm sharing the screen. I think you can put it on, guys. Look at these levels, right? You can see here 550 is a big resistance from November 2023, March 2024, May 2024. So we have these spikes as resistance, and it's working quite good so far. So let's see if we see some fading this stock below VWAP.
It's one of those at this point, and apologies, we'll see if we can get your screen set up here, Luis, but it's one of those that at this point really needs to, as you said, show that it wants to go down, because it hasn't to this point. I think a lot of people fall into a trap from time to time where you start looking for and maybe picking tops instead of waiting for it to actually show you it wants to go down.
Yeah, as you say, most of the people are trying to pick the top, and it's going to be very, very difficult on this one. We might see the last squeeze maybe over 550, 560, but if we don't see it, let's say short sellers are not going to come in until the movement is confirmed. They are not going to go here front side against the high of the day, because the probability is much lower. Probably they will sell once we lose $5, $4.70, which would be confirmed the movement. It's a worse price than now, but a higher winning ratio and a lot of movement down. It could go to $4, $3, $2, $1. Check out the charts from, as I say, from 2024. It did it several times already.
3.5% short float, which is not huge. I mean, there is some there, but not huge, definitely. But 12.5 total on the float. All right, let's go on to a couple other here.
Sorry, but sure. 11 gaps since 2020, I think. 11 gaps, 27%, 25% red close probability. So it's quite high for a second day at least.
Right. Good one to keep an eye on here. All right. Already showing some weakness here, I would say. ZKIN. What are you thinking here?
ZKIN. Oh, yeah. This was already losing 180, 175, which was the key entry point. We will not take any shorts here long unless it retests the VWAP. If it retests the VWAP 165, 170 maybe, for a small break of the VWAP, we'll go short there. It is true that you have to size pretty big here to make some profits, because the movement is very, very tight.
All right, let's go on to some of these quantum stocks. A lot of people talking about this group again as we get some headlines this morning. I mean, the big one here, Rigetti taking out highs as we speak. QBTS, another one taking out highs as well, back to $9. I mean, strength across the board here. Is this a long today?
Yeah, QBTS is the main one to look for sure, because Rigetti and QUBT are a little bit farther from the highs. So let's see if we see some sympathy there. If this stock start to spike up, we might join the trend with following the QBTS, which is, as I say, the main stock to trade within this quantum momentum. We had, I think, was a 9, kind of resistance there in 9. So let's see how it reacts there. It is a little bit overextended, at least for my kind of trading. I tried not to join the trend so late. It would have been a very nice trade to buy the VWAP in $8 or the $8.40 even break up, which I know Sean and Neil trade very good this kind of setup. We don't, but this $8 round number above VWAP was a very nice buy.
Anything else catching your eye here this morning, Luis?
Well, you talk about MBAX as well with earnings. I think it was 850 as a resistance to try to look for some shorts. As the market right now is not so strong, we have a spike down on NASDAQ. Now it's recovering a little bit, but let's see MBAX against these 850s as a resistance. And let me check if we have something else in the scanner. We had JZeta, but locates were quite expensive for a movement, but it's an interesting stock as well.
Great stuff. Luis Barbado, have a fantastic Thursday. Lots to look at today. Best of luck. Thanks for doing this, as always.
Thank you very much, you guys.
All right.
Oh, hopefully my mic is better now. But hopefully QBTS does give you some chances a little bit later on. Maybe we'll see at the open. Like a lot of times you gap up this far, you might see like a reasonable pullback because it gets so far above VWAP in the trend, as Luis said. Like it's one of those, who's really going to be chasing it up here, up that 30%? You want to see it withhold some kind of a dip that it's already done a couple of times. And I think that I would agree that that's the one to watch because that $8 level is key. The accumulation on this, as you can see, holding trend, holding that $7 before. So yeah, primed to make a better run. It looks like that's a little bit better than NVAX here. The other thing worth noting is the futures were able to just creep back up there. We're able to get back to 2020. We're up 1.25%. NVIDIA was, I mean, it wasn't like a big move down, but it was some resistance at 119. It kind of pulled back almost a buck, and you're coming back a little bit higher. So that little dip that we had at 830, looks like we've recovered most of that on the NASDAQ. Still waiting for Bitcoin, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, not,
Same
it's
for
still,
us.
we're just very slowly gliding down on Bitcoin. It's just not really doing on kind of little consolidation, but lower highs, lower lows, very slowly holding under VWAP. Before obviously I think there's going to be a 100K test today. I think it's unlikely that we don't see a 100K today. I'd be very surprised.
Yeah, so I just want to show you that also on the sticky note, which is now out here. We have a bunch of stuff coming. We just had the initial jobless claims. Wholesale inventory is coming as well. But there it is right there. I have QBTS written as $8 long as well. So I really like that level. So good thing that, Luis also is mentioning that there. But yeah, here's QBTS. Just have a quick look at the chart. See, I mean, I know we just looked at it with him. But there's $8 and $8 on the weekly. Pretty good, right into there. So we'll have a look at that right there, QBTS, as it's trying to bump right through now. $9 on great earnings, man. It's only up 30%, right? I mean, wow. Nice day for D-Wave and some of those other quantum names. All right, I'm sure some of them have been upgraded today. And the only way to find out is by looking it up for yourself. Or we can go over to Adara and see what's on her upgrade and downgrade board.
Interestingly enough, Sean, one of the quantum names is on this list, but it's not an upgrade. Let's start with the names that were upgraded, including Uber, up slightly today with a DA Davidson note. Then we get Dayforce upgraded by BMO Capital Markets, Paycom with a Piper Sandler upgrade, and Sandstorm down on the day, but getting upgraded here by H.C. Wainwright. On the downgrade side of things, starting with ARM, pretty weak to mixed guidance across the board for ARM, and they're going to get downgrade from TD Cowen to boot. Then we get Fortinet, another earnings loser from last night, at least from a trading perspective, with a BMO Capital Markets downgrade. IonQ, the quantum name that we were mentioning here, up on the day, but getting downgraded by Needham. And last but not least, Kuros getting downgraded here by H.C. Wainwright. Some earnings names as can be expected on the board today, guys.
ARM.
Well, ARM will be on the board because obviously it's got earnings, but Uber, don't want to forget about how relatively strong that was off the bump in the morning. Obviously, it was gapping down on what actually was a good quarter. And ultimately, sometimes that happens when you make a fresh high. So it wicked that 86 high, couldn't really hold it. But I love the fact that we bounced. It held that $8 level. That was the only trade. Didn't even trade it post-Fed. It didn't move enough. But now all of a sudden, you've got the close right back above prior resistance. They're at 82. I think as long as it can hold on to 82 today, well, dips were at 83. As long as we can close above 82, looking pretty good on Uber, and still wanted to take out that 86, like that prior top. Love it to get back there, but not a lot of volume and volatility. I want to make sure I have it up just in case it does another dip and rip scenario like it did at the open. But yeah, don't want to sleep on this bad boy. ARM actually caught a bit of a bounce just recently, so it was when the market caught a little bit of a bid. ARM, oops, and of course I type AMD. Muscle memory is a wonderful thing sometimes, and other times it's like a pain. ARM catches a nice bid. It was the guide that was the problem there. So I think they could get a little bit of chip relief rally because their guidance is all assuming that no deals are done. If they are, you could imagine that's better.
My daughter's going to be riding during one of the intermissions. They let the kids ride on the Zamboni, so she's going to be doing that.
That's sick.
Yeah, so she's that's going to be fun. IonQ there with the downgrade, so that's a little bit interesting there. 31 and change, up to $32. I mean, I don't think the downgrade, we would really be looking at that today because of where we are, but interesting to see that note and maybe look at that if you are involved with IonQ and why they got the downgrade there in the quantum space. So for me, I mean, we saw D-Wave upside there. We just talked about a little bit of Rigetti as well, but this will be interesting to me if I was holding this. Why downgrade it on a day when when the whole sector's up and it was a good earnings play? From D-Wave, and the other name reported too, right? It wasn't just, it wasn't Rigetti. It was, hold on a second, Quantum Stocks, D-Wave. Oh, it's just they. Oh, and IonQ also reported. Yeah, smaller than expected loss per share. So interesting that came through as a downgrade there today. So we'll watch out. I'm not really seeing anything on the daily. I was just going to say, like, if you do fall back into this area, I think that's a really great buy back into some of this, especially if we think quantum computing is going to be a thing. And then also, Google was supposed to be leading the way in AI. That didn't work out too well for them. They're supposed to be leading the way in quantum computing. I'm not sure what's going on there, but they're getting also that bump up from some of the quantum rally, I would assume, today as well. So, I think they're leading all of the Mag 7, being up that almost 3% there. Yeah, Meta, the next one, 178. Microsoft chilling out as well, greater than 1%. Now it just fell down a little bit. You can see the volume is not here really in any of the other names. A lot of it is just going to be related to Google and some quantum, and then Apple today, 0.62. So if you're looking to sell and get out of some Google shares, which I kind of am, I think this is a decent spot to do it now, up 3%. Giving some of that back, down 9 yesterday, give some back today, get some back today, 3%. We'll see if it wants to go. So. All right, look, we have a super busy watch list. I mean, it's full of tons of names, earnings names, Shopify, more talk here about chip plays that are going to be going on there today. Yeah, you know what, Virus? I didn't put the TQs on there today, but I am interested in it. The reason why I think the NASDAQ is going to be an interesting trade is we do have that deal going to be announced at 10 o'clock, so we can wait to see if anything does happen there. For me, I would be looking long back into this area here, 57.50 or so, which is a little bit of a pullback, maybe 58. I just kind of, when I look at the futures, I look at, the tops and the bottoms. Well, we're not going to be getting down to here, and if we did, then that would be a problem, and I would have lost already because I'm going to try to buy dips into weekly support, that resistance that may now turn into support. So I think 58 or so for the TQs looks like a decent buy area, but we're going to wait. I mean, the market just dipped. We'll see what happens now. Still up 1.1%. So looking long for sure today.
Oh, man. All right. Just real quick, the 10-year back to the upside here. Some of the yields moving higher. Just heard the dollar as well back higher. We're back to 4.3 on the 10-year after 2 days downside, including yesterday with the Fed. But really, I mean, it's just chopping around inside the range here at this point. Even if you take that high, 4.8 down to 6.5 or so, we're basically dead in the middle. So that just means things are still kind of up in the air and undecided as far as what the economy is looking at. Peloton, worth noting, 7.3% downside here on their report. There was also, it was Beyond Meat we were looking at. I haven't looked at this chart in a really, really long time. Beyond Meat's $2.50. This is a weekly chart. So wow. Pandemic era, if you were around, remember this thing got to above 200 a few times. So Beyond Meat, $2.50 this morning on a pretty disgusting report as well. Let's get a look at the market here and we'll get going.
Absolutely, Brendo. Looks a lot better than Beyond Meat's chart. 56.50, boys and girls. That's where we closed out yesterday on the ES June contract. We did breach that 5,700 point level overnight, with the high being 57.17, but we're below it right now. You can see we're trading at 56.93. So we're going to continue to use 5,700 as a resistance until it clears. Simple one for support today. Yesterday's closing price at 56.50.
If you haven't done so yet, make sure you take some time. Jump down to the description of this video. Hit the top link. That will take you to the sign up page. And then all you need is your email address, and we'll send you the watch list every day for absolutely nothing. It's free. It has everything on it you need to know in the pre-market and what's moving and why. 1.4 here for NVIDIA. Huge move up for all of these if you missed it late in the day yesterday. No, that wasn't the Fed. This actually went down on the Fed. The Fed move actually looks pretty small on this chart comparably to what happened after the fact. Again, this was yesterday. Trump reportedly planning to roll back the Biden-era AI export curb. So we'll see what happens today with this, but the entire group benefiting.
Yeah, they're all up, Brendo, except ARM, obviously, because it reported. But yeah, NVIDIA shares are up, and as well as the other group as well, after reports that the AI diffusion rule will be rescinded. The rule was set to take effect on May 15th and would have heavily restricted the AI chip exports to numerous countries. Removal of the rule removes a major overhang for a lot of these U.S. chip makers, like, you know, the usual suspects here, NVIDIA, AMD, and Intel. And the policy shift is, shifting from control to expansion. So now the Department of Commerce spokesman confirmed that the Trump administration plans to do the following. They will remove the Biden era AI rule, which they say is overly complex, overly bureaucratic, and would stymie innovation. The new rule, they say, aims to unleash American innovation and ensure AI dominance. The original policy sorted countries into 3 tiers, Brendo, each with a different export restriction on high-end chips. Now, the strategic implications are the revoking of the rule reopens access to a lot of these key global markets, notably China, and ensures U.S. top-tier chip makers continue to ship advanced GPUs and AI accelerators everywhere. And I got to tell you, this is being applauded by everybody. NVIDIA releasing a statement, loving this. Lisa Su all commented on it during their earnings report. So being well received by a lot of these chip makers.
Yeah, that said, we are fading off a little bit here, guys, with the overall market on some of these.
Yeah, arrows up for the group. Arrows up for Qualcomm. You can throw them into that group as well. We'll get to ARM a little bit. They're just a little bit different, clearly. And apparently, we'll separate Intel out of the semis rally. It's a lot of semis on the board today. But 115 and 117. Prior close 117, and then that 115 supply zone. If we're going dip buy hunting, which I'm only looking long on this, once you cleared 115, it's looking long until at least 125. So that's what I want to try to respect here on NVDA. So that was that prior high on NVIDIA at 115. You've now cleared it out, and we had that close at the 117 level. It does seem like the market's trying to pull back, not super rapidly, and we've seen the dip and rip in NVIDIA. Like, it was a dip at the open yesterday. It was a dip at the open the day before that. We've seen it time and time again, so you want to be a little bit patient when it does happen. But the first look is that prior close. Bounces anywhere in front of that, looking long.
Look, yesterday NVIDIA was a dream. So this is us buying the $12 area that we had written down between 112 and 113. So we were buying that. That was great. And then the news came out, and we just YOLO'd this. We just went long. Well, I mean, we missed the first dollar. I didn't even care. And then we just punched in, and that was a 115.50 punch or so. I think it was 115.70, something like that. And then it just ripped up, and our quotes were going insane. And I was just offer, letting it rip. Then it came all the way back down, and then we reloaded it, and then it went again. And yeah, absolutely fantastic movement to the upside there on NVIDIA. So it's not on my sticky note there today, but obviously, well, it's the number one name, but not for punching long. I had written down that we had 120 as a possible, sort of supply zone again to the upside. The last time we had broken through, we had gotten to 121, 122. Like it wasn't, it's super dramatic or anything like that. I don't know if this is enough news. This is just a cancellation of whatever Biden was going with that transfer of chips. This is not anything that is changed for NVIDIA. It's just a cancel of what was going to happen today, what was going to go into effect today. So this hadn't affected NVIDIA until possibly today. Now it won't. So that just lifts the veil a little bit of some of the protectionist powers that they're trying to invoke, basically, on shipping chips over there to China. So for me, I wrote down basically 115 to 116. Yesterday we wrote down 112 to 113. That was perfect. Today we'll see if it can dip back into this 116 area. If it does, we're a buyer. Until then, probably not. I'm just going to let NVIDIA sort of chill out, see what this reaction to this is. Again, I'm debating, honestly, getting out of some of these names. I like it. It's just the rally over the last little while has made me think that maybe it is time to get back into a little bit of cash and then see if there is a movement to the downside. Remember, May 28th, these guys are going to report. I can't imagine it's going to be a huge guide or anything like that until we get some more clarity, especially with China and whatnot. But yeah, look at that rally, man. That's $96 back on April 21st. So it's May 8th. So maybe you have 10 trading days and this thing's up about 25 to 30%, which on one of the major market caps of our current day, that's a huge move. And competition's definitely ramping up. We've heard it from Huawei. We had a good number from AMD. AMD shares going higher as well. So there's a lot of kids in the yard, so to speak. But Jensen holds the the magic, I guess, with these chips right now, right? And so if you're going to buy high quality, you're still buying NVIDIA, as far as I know. I just wonder, holding this into May 20, like I actually felt great about their last quarter and it wasn't that great. So maybe it's the opposite right now. So anyways, I still like NVIDIA, but it's a nice move. Nice move back to 120. I mean, I can show you sticky notes from a couple of days ago, like 103, 104. So the fact that now it's at 119, I feel like that's a win already. Especially for traders that are playing swing. So maybe 120, there is some sort of resistance. But all right, Shopify earnings, Canada,
that
but not today. As we'll wait. But it's had a big move again, so a little bit of a pullback for Shopify. Let's go find out about the numbers.
I mean, overall, not bad, guys. I mean, it was a miss, but ever so slightly, 7.25% here. Meanwhile, for Shopify downside, we just bounced off 87.5 once again. Pretty red. Yeah, it was just this, 25 versus 26. Everything else on the green side of things here for Shopify, they were a little bit cautious looking forward here, but I mean, this is another one that's been up huge.
Yeah, they missed on EPS, Brendo. They did beat on revenue, so it was kind of a top line beat, bottom line miss. A couple of concerning things here. The net loss continued to widen, guys. $682 million they lost on the quarter. Compare that to last year when they lost about $273 million. As I mentioned, revenue did increase about 27%, but it was still one of those ones where it was kind of still up in the air. Revenue for their outlook for Q3 expected to grow in the mid 20% year over year. Analysts had been expecting 22%, so not a bad miss there. We'll have to see if this ends up moving back up after the bell, because it wasn't really too bad.
Yeah, I mean, trying to bounce right now here a little bit for Shopify. As you said, kind of not that bad.
Yeah, not that bad, but didn't necessarily think we'd be losing that 200 period moving average so easily on Shop. So I have this up on the daily because ours, like, they went from the New York to NASDAQ, right? So after that change, I want to make sure you can see the past data. If we do gap further down, because we're sitting at like 88, like we're already down here in the pre-market. So if we gap further down, you're talking about the 80 level, and then you'd be looking, well, I shouldn't say you, I should say me, because then I'd be looking for an SSR bounce. Like, I don't think it was that bad. If it gets down 10%, I think it's a reversal long, like a mean reversion play. It's doing really good volume, but a lot of it was like the old dark pool dump. So it's still good relative volume, but I probably need to see this one come in, do like a 10% down, go extend itself a little bit too far, and then try to catch a bit. Otherwise, we'll stay away from it. There's so much moving today. Like, we're going to get to, there's more chips to talk about. There's still Apple and Google, and of course the quantum names out there in play. So yeah, it might be on the back burner, but if we break that low, at that point I start looking for an SSR bounce, and the 80 level is like the ultimate place.
I think that, right here's a good point. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. We want to thank you for being here. This one, Wet 64, something like that. I don't trust Shopify yet, neither do I. So I was just going to say, I think that's a good point here. It's too thin. Like, it's going to really move off the open. So to me, it's a little bit of a stay away situation there until we do find that bottom. On the daily, we're down here, right? It's $88 right now, $87. So yeah, that $80 seems pretty good. We only spent 3 days underneath there. But again, when you miss on earnings and now you break below the 200 period moving average, is not a buy at all until it breaks back above $93. I do not want to dip by this name because you could get a lot nastier, right? Especially if we are thinking that this economy is, here in Canada, things aren't the greatest. So, if we do come back in, and they have a lot of business outside of Canada, that's for sure. But coming back into here, $68, $69 is not out of the realm of possibilities, especially if we do get that move in the market, right? So I would say you want to stay away from companies that miss. and they've lost 53 cents. Like, they're not making money. So I don't love the name, and I think it's had a really great run off that bottom. And right now, today, you're, big candle to the downside. So I would wait on Shopify, let it get going a little bit. I mean, I always compare them to Block, and I know it's not going to be the same, not even really that close. But this name, again, if you had sort of tried to catch this, you had some big moves to the downside, right? And this can happen at any time. Now you're on a 3-day winning streak. I would always say let these correct and come back up to sort of earnings levels that we've been at before. So, like, for me, this is not a buy until we get above 60, and the same thing would be for Shopify above 93. So I'm staying away from Shopify. ARM, Intel, and then Quantum. So, yeah, all better plays, in my opinion, today than Shopify.
Speaking of, ARM almost halfway back here from the low we saw after the close yesterday. This gets all the way down through 110. It was the forecast that was the issue once again. Not good at all for the forecast. This kind of interesting, though. The CEO basically saying tariffs can't touch their core business, and the build out for AI continues to rely heavily on ARM's products specifically. So back to 117 already here for ARM.
Yeah, it was not a bad quarter, Brendo. The guide was kind of disappointing, so let's talk exactly about that. EPS beat 55 pennies. The street was looking for 52. Revenue 1.24 billion. Street wanted 1.23. Net income did drop 6% year over year, but at least they're making money. $210 million was the take-home money, and the revenue grew about 34% year over year, up from 928. So they're above $1 billion level now. The royalty revenue, which accounts for a substantial portion of the revenue, 607 million, up 18% year over year. But this is kind of where it all falls apart. The guide here, no good. Revenue outlook dropping, obviously, quarter over quarter, 1.0 to 1.1 billion, below the estimates of 1.1, with the EPS also missing here on the guide. 30 to 38 pennies is their guide. The street was looking for 42, which signals what could be a slower licensing momentum or margin pressure that's weighing on sentiment. So we'll have to keep an eye out on that. And their business model, guys, their core revenue models are basically twofold here. Licensing fees for their chip designs, as well as the royalties per unit sold by the amount of customers. For example, Qualcomm, NVIDIA all use their technology, and they get a cut of every one they sell. They're also claiming here, Brendo, 99% penetration in the premium smartphone market, which obviously means a very mature market or mature segment that really doesn't have too much to grow.
Yeah. We'll keep an eye on that. I was just hearing Coinbase moving around here once again. There was a story out earlier. We just came back in a little bit, but got above 207 there very briefly. If you missed it, Coinbase going to buy crypto options platform Deribit for $2.9 billion. That's according to Wall Street Journal. Again, Coinbase deal for Deribit to be announced later today. Executives from the company apparently are saying so. Coinbase up here as well, 5.3.
Yeah, up with Bitcoin, of course, Coinbase. So like that actually has a pretty interesting breakout level of 210.5 on coin. ARM might have already given you the bounce. We sort of talked about how in the aftermarket show, we talked about how, look, the guidance bad, but then you could be in a totally different environment from what they were projecting on, which would be positive for them here. I really did think we'd get a test lower. Whoops, I wanted to show this chart. Yeah, I really did think we'd get maybe a test underneath 110, and then there'd be dip buys down into 107. But at this point, it's already rallied off of the 50-period moving average. So you might have already had the move here. That was 112. So I'd look to be a dip buyer on ARM. It's just like when it's already like it rallied $5 from the bottom. Kind of already did the move here off that 50-period moving average. So I guess a look back into VWAP is what makes the most sense if you're going to go for a continuation play. Might just be other semis are more on the radar if we do start to come in. Because I'm looking at Intel and their deals, and that's one for sure I'm going to trade today.
Yeah, so I do the same kind of thing. When you have a gap like this, you want to look to VWAP, but this time it's already above it. So I think you want to do the same thing. So that's 114 to 115. 115 is the 50 period on the 1 minute chart. That's what I try to use for momentum and things like that. And then, if you really were going to try to dip by this, I think 114, but that's going to come in off the open. So you better just decide if you want to take it or not. That's my advice, and I'm not. So I would say this is the trade, and we'll look back, and it's going to, I think this hits 114 off the open. So if you want to take it, sit there and get ready for it. And then, if you're going to drop it out, I would say 112.50. That bottom is 112.30. So I think ARM retraces a little bit here. It could go it could rip. I don't know, but my thought here is that's a really nice move off of there. I think there'll be some profit taking now back in. It's had one of those big moves again to the upside there for ARM. So, huge move from $80 all the way to 120. Now, giving back off earnings, which the earnings weren't even that bad. It's just, coming back in on the guide. So I like VWAP down there at 114. So 114 to 115. If you're going to trade it long, that's where I would sit there. But just get ready to get filled. Like, I'm not bidding there. But if you want that, I think that's going to come through. Not confident enough to short it though, to make that $2. But I think that's going to come in. So for me, if you like ARM, for sure I would wait on this, because we always say about the gap to VWAP, and right there is where it is. It's $14. Normally when you're down, you wait for the gap to come up and then re-short it. But in today's market, with some positivity coming around the space, the short is probably not the right decision. I think dip buying is probably better. It's just I'm not willing to do it at 114, and that's where I think it's going. So watch out for ARM down at 114. If you're short, I'd put a bid there.
Intel up here, we're along with the rest of the semiconductors. Some deal making getting done apparently as well for Intel on the foundry side of things with Microsoft on the 18A chip process, but apparently Google and NVIDIA next.
Yeah, Brendo. A lot of conversations here with Intel. This could be very interesting. So let's talk about what's going on, guys. NVIDIA reportedly exploring, as you mentioned, Brendo, Intel's 18A node for future gaming GPUs. That's being reported by Tom's Hardware. Microsoft as well apparently has signed a major foundry deal with our friends at Intel for, again, that 18A chips. Reports Chosen Sun also talks with Google that are apparently underway, signaling growing traction, obviously, among U.S. tech giants. This would mark a milestone here under new CEO Lip-Bu Tan and a potential competitive boost, obviously, versus TSMC and Samsung that are their major competitors. Just to give you an idea here, Intel is the largest U.S. fab, has the largest U.S. fab presence, I should say, among the foundry competitors. A key edge, obviously, with the tariff talk now in full force. For example, their Arizona plant, they committed $32 billion investment to 2 fabs there. New Mexico, they got an advanced packaging expansion. Oregon, they've got that 300 millimeter logic and a foundry plant. Likewise with Ohio, $28 billion investment in 2 fabs, which have been delayed to 2030 and 2032. And it's not just the United States, Brendo. Ireland, they've got Fab 34, Israel, Fab 38, and Malaysia. They got a lot of fabs, Brendo. Doesn't matter if it's global or domestic.
They need some orders for those.
That's what they need
fabs.
now.
Possibly coming here, guys, for Intel.
This is the kind of thing that maybe gets it going off this 20 again, which has been happening for a while. But like this, I love this descending. Well, it's just more of like a wedge pattern. It's a big descending wedge from the high, but then the most recent one from this low, nice little tight range that you're now gapping out and above. So that's a setup to look for a long. I mean, ultimately, the trend would tell you you can look back into 2050, looking at that daily chart. But I go a little bit different here. Just going right into the 15-minute. I think the buy zone, I said 60 to 80 in the note. Like, that's where I want to be buying the dip off the open. So I like Intel. And the thing about that move on the daily is I think it can go for multiple days. Like the last time it rallied from this kind of a move, it's gone to 25 to 25. So I think that's the kind of thing that can happen here. There's a lot that needs to happen positively for them in the long run, but a good step and a good support level. So I'm looking longs, 2060 to 2080 buy area, mean reversion trade to the upside. Only want to be long Intel today, unless it breaks the bottom of that wedge.
Yeah, look, I have Intel on the note today for sure, and whenever we have it on there, it's definitely an interesting play because I'll be in this 2050. So I have a little lower than what Neil does. I'm going to wait to see. A lot of companies interested in this 18A process, so we'll wait to see, again, the new chip manufacturing. We'll see if that produces anything for Intel, but we've had a nice move up. So yeah, pull back into 2070. That is where the 200 period moving average is. I'm just looking here a little bit lower just to see if we could get into 2050. Again, 2060 looks fine to me. We'll wait to see where it goes, but I was just sort of waiting for these tops. Yesterday, we kind of closed right there. We got that nice bump up near the end of the day. So I think that's a little, frothy there. And then, because I'm not sure how much that really affects Intel. And then, so now you're getting the bump up today, which is real nice, man. 3.4% on Microsoft interested, Google interested in 18A. So, yeah, good. I think that's what you want. And then plus American company. So we really like it. The foundry's being built here. So yeah, I like the stock, and it's might not even dip. So, you know, when you're looking for a little bit of a longer trade there, the 50-period moving average is 2150. So that could be maybe where we stop, but that would mean you're up probably 5.5% or so. So I would think that's probably a lot, but we'll wait. That 2150 is a great area. I'm hoping that we can get to there and then hold it. Then maybe I'll use that as support and just try to go long off of 2150. But either way, 50 cents upside, I think we're interested in. For me, 50 cents downside, I'm already bidding. So right now I have a decent position waiting at $20.55. So if that comes in, then I will be long. That'll be that. So Intel up 3.5%.
Today has this entire thing to the upside. 26% right now for QBTS. Every single one of them, though, to the upside. There's Rigetti as well, 7.25 benefiting. I mean, it's ARQQ, QUBT, as we were speaking with Luis about, all rallying here today.
And yeah, I reviewed IonQ, Brendo, which also did okay, beat estimates. As obviously as a quantum sector eyes earnings season, as you mentioned, everybody reporting here. Revenue for IonQ, 7.6 million, beating the 7.5 expected by the street, but they were flat year over year, down, guys, 35% quarter over quarter. Not sure if that's seasonal for them, but keep an eye on that. They continued to lose money, not unexpected there, $32.3 million loss versus the almost $40 million loss last year, so a slight improvement. The new CEO, Nicolo De Masi, called it a strong start to the year, so we'll have to keep an eye out on that. Their guidance, kind of okay. Q2 revenue forecast $16 to $18 million, with the full year 2025 revenue outlook being about 75 to 95 million. Still no timeline, though, for profitability was mentioned in the release. And some strategic developments here for the industry as a whole that were actually for Ionic. They acquired a controlling stake in a company called ID Quantique, which is a Swiss quantum cryptography firm. They also secured a $22 million deal with a company called EPB, which is a municipal telecom provider in Tennessee. And last but not least, Brendo, they're pushing forward on quantum networking alongside their hardware and cloud access.
A lot of these still with very high short floats as well. Remember, Rigetti, according to Trade Ideas here, still above that 20% mark, 23 even for RGTI. So briefly touches $10 here for RGTI this morning, guys.
Yeah, and hopefully qubits or D-Wave QBTS can touch $10. That would be fantastic. Look, we talked about this with Luis, or right after Luis, and he mentioned this as well. Prior high was dead on, just holding $8 over and over and over again, and it's just trending up. So the chance you get an 8, you got to lose VWAP to get to $8 at this point, which is always tricky on a small cap. A runner, if you lose VWAP off the open, you want to be a bit patient about getting in and not catching a falling knife. So it's either we actually trade under VWAP and get that trade at 8, or we play above VWAP at the open. But I need to see the opening range. It's on the downtrend going into this open, so I want to try to respect that and just be very patient with any trades in QBTS. Actually, not that I plan on going short, but posterity. Yeah, on the off chance that it sets up as a short, we have free locates on it today. I wanted to get to a super chat because we did get a couple here in the Corleone family. ASST, that was that big runner yesterday. Thoughts on it? Crazy accumulation here at $5. So, yeah, I like the gap up is fine. The volume is good. The accumulation is good, but I think if it loses the $5, just be wary of a gap fill. This was at 330 at the close yesterday, like right around. Actually, it was in here, like 339, it actually says. So I'd be a little bit concerned if this lost the $5 level, just the way that it's accumulating here. There's way too much buildup, and I feel like you'd almost rather be breaking out and making new highs and playing a trend at new highs, as opposed to, I guess you have a tight stop here, but buying underneath that 5, I think, will be really tricky. So just be very careful there. And Arsis in the chat, appreciate you as well. I do have my fruit, and it's a lot of watermelon in there today. Not as much pineapple, but a lot of watermelon. We always eat our fruit every day, brother.
Yeah, watermelon is one of the greatest fruits. I love grapes. All right, so right here, shout out to my guy Nimit. Shout out to Nimit. Penbalia, it is your birthday, so congratulations to Nimit, one of our original sort of OGs. This guy's been here for a minute. Has been Nimit, so happy birthday.
Nimit from
good friend Nimit. So I think he'll be visiting here shortly. He was mentioning, he was here just recently. Anyways, I actually have one of the. There was an extra bottle opener that he brought from Singapore. Oh, I must have took. Maybe I took it home. It was around here somewhere. I don't know where it is.
There was one on that desk.
Oh, maybe that's where it is. Yeah. Anyways, thank you, Nimit, for that, and we look forward to seeing you. And happy birthday, my guy right there. And thank you for always the kind words. Look, I wrote down QBTS down here at $8. So for me, it's just really that simple. That's where the 200 period moving average is. That's where possible support is. We actually looked at this back here. That was resistance. We didn't break through $8 until just today. You know, it's been a minute, right? It's been since March 28th. So we've been a while to get going again. So there it goes. Now Quantum on good earnings up 26%. It's hard to say, like, let's go long on something up 26%, but we still have a couple minutes here. Let me just see what's going on as far as their short float. You see I had ASST up there as well. QBTS, not ST. QBTS right there. So let's go and just find out what their short float is. So 17% short, decent float of 300 million shares. So 18% short probably gets this thing going. That is for sure. Conference call has concluded, as it says here. So that's good to know. But there it is. Nice move up there for QBTS with 18% short. I think it continued to go. I was just looking at $8 for those exact reasons. We just said, you know, it was the top right there. We had a problem with it a couple of days ago, actually back in April, and then just a couple of days ago right there. And then now we open up to a bigger print. So yeah, back down to $8. So I am bidding right now. Let me just go over what I'm doing. I'm just doing everything that's on here because nothing's changed. So I'm bidding QBTS right now at $8.11. So join the party if you want that. I'm also bidding NVIDIA down here at $116.50. I don't think that's going to come into play, but that is where yesterday's close was. So we're going to do that. Then we're also on Mara, a name that we didn't even have crypto on that board.
Well, we did just, yeah, which is weird.
Did we?
We talked about Bitcoin in the 100.
Not really. We just talked about, yeah.
But we didn't have it on the board, which is weird.
Very strange. But, okay, Mara I have on the board as well. This is going to be on my note, $13.50 for Mara. Any kind of a pullback on this name, we're going to try to get long right into yesterday. It's just we'll wait to see. I don't think Bitcoin's going to fall too much past where we are right now. I mean, if you get into 98, maybe, but I don't, you know, the fact that we're at near 100, the next move is higher. So that's fine. It's already, next move is already happening. That's that name. And then we have Intel, which I'm bidding. I'm just going over the plays of where I'm looking right now. So I have an Intel bid right now at $20.55. And then the biggest and the baddest of them all, hopefully, will be Palantir. And this is not even that far away again. This is kind of where we were on earnings day. And then we had that move up to 124-ish. And then we touched 130 on the release. And then the flush the very next day. So you're just kind of back to where we were about 4 days ago, if we can get to 115. So that's going to be a play for me, but I'd written it down here on the sticky note 111s. So we're coming into that rate now. I mean, if that hits, we're not coming into it, but there's 111 right there into 110. So I want to see if we can hold some of these levels. You know, we've seen Palantir obviously drip a lot off the open and rip, depending on what the market's doing. So we do have those imbalances that are out right now. Not much on here. T-Dump right there is on here. Bombardier, Big Bear AI up 3%. So that's nice. I just saw Google right there. Google L with a bid, although that's coming back in just a little bit here as the market trying to find its way. It's looking like a short rate here off the open, being underneath VWAP and all that, but there's some good news in the market. And we have that trade deal apparently that is coming through in and around 10. So.
That's a big thing. Like Trump at 10 o'clock, you know, there's going to be a deal announcement. We also know anything can get said on another topic or another related topic. So 1 minute to go here.
Whoa.
The only thing I didn't mention was Apple. I don't think I'm not changing anything with this Apple 200 to 201 area until it breaks out 201 change. I think it's still a short up into that. It's underneath VWAP. I mean, relative to the market, it's doing more or less the same thing. Slightly weaker than the NASDAQ, but if we do get enough strength to pull it back above $200 level, that's been a short on AAPL. So we have Intel dip by, we've gone over NVIDIA. I didn't mention IBIT, but I want to play if we break 100K. That's simple. On IBIT, it's like 56.90 something. We'll have Bitcoin up, and if it fails an initial break, I don't mind trying it a second time. But that 100K break, I feel like we're going to see it at some point in today, and we've been slowly grinding down with the market here on Bitcoin. So you got to be a little bit patient with it. If it's a one crazy wick out, want to have a tight stop early on any breakout trades. It's just like breakout trades in this market, they're either working right away or you want to load up for the second salvo. So with the bell coming in, it's Thursday, it is post-Fed, and we didn't even talk about them. Why? Because the chips are in play, a deal's getting made with the UK at 10 o'clock, and we'll see that announcement, and Adara's going to ring the bell in 2 and 1. Let's go.
We forgot to tell you also, Fed doesn't really matter right
we did
now.
say that.
No, I say that. I said that yesterday. I said that today. All right, so 118. Oh, I thought that was Powell over there. All right, so 118 right now. Nice move down. So here comes NVIDIA. You know, we said that this was a very good possibility. This is why we're waiting at 116 to see what happens down here at yesterday's close or in and around there. 116.50 if it does come in. It's not like the market is bleeding completely here or anything like that. Palantir saying what market as it's going higher right now. Looking to take out pre-market levels right now on Palantir. If I was more bullish, generally speaking, about this market, I think I would punch this long.
Google's tank. Well,
Google. Well, I said we would try to sell Google today, and of course, there it goes. What a surprise. So there goes Google down. Yeah, Intel. Okay,
Intel's up. Apple's not moving.
No. Okay.
Qubits. D-Wave, QBTS, that's bouncing rather nicely off the open. Doesn't even get to the volume weighted average price, almost at $9 as well. And asset, whatever the ASST, there it is. It just wicked that $6. So it actually failed a breakout at 6 and is coming back in. Just be careful with that $5 level. Like that's where there's a ton of accumulation. You get under there, and I think you run into a little bit of trouble. So yeah, not looking great for now on that 6 break of ASST, but it's still holding $5 in the short term. What is Intel doing? Coming back into 21. Maybe VWAP's the only thing to work with there. ARM as well. ARM had already done its move. ARM hit 120 and just pulled back. So I feel like the bounce in ARM has already happened. Yeah,
we're into Palantir. We took something out there at 50. We're just long right here at 113.20. Oops, that's Google. 113.25. I just want to take a little bit. I said like if I really thought the market was going to rip, then that would be a great take through 113. But I waited for 113.25 and then actually got out of half up there for 25 cents, just trying to make a quick scalp because there's the market dripping back in again. We want to be patient with what we're trying to do as well. You know, no point in sort of getting crushed right here, right off the open. VWAP is 112.50 right there. So I think if we break the low of the day there, then we'll just wind up waiting for our 110 to 111 area. So that's 112 clean. So let's buy a little bit more right here just to see if it wants to dance a little bit. But other than that, we'll wait for it to see if it gets a little bit lower and buy some more shares here on Palantir. But right now, quick little dub there, but now turns into an L. So we'll have to wait to see if we do break 112. And I'm just going to give that not too much love. Like if we break down below it, we'll go get out at 111.89 and then just see about averaging in around 112.50. And then let it fall, rip or fall at this point. Look at the market really giving back. We said that we were looking or thinking about a short because we started the market underneath VWAP. Well, here it comes in, man, and it's probably being led by the name that I said I'd wanted to sell.
Google is by far.
Well, I should have just done it in the pre-market, being up that 3%. But yeah, there it goes. So average price right now of 113.10. I don't think you've been in anything yet. So yeah, fresh open right here.
Right now, like only now is Intel starting to lose the bid. I mean, I won't say AMD. NVIDIA almost filled the gap into the prior close, but we're in this downward trend, so I'm trying to be patient with it. There was one thing I forgot about. It was Nike at $60. Nike has a seller in front of 60, and 60 is that breakout level on the daily, and it's not really falling down that far. So I'm going to take a shot at this. It looks like it's okay for now. As long as it holds out the opening range, I'm going to put the breakout bid for Nike in there, and that is the wrong. I want to use an Edge A because Edge A is better for breakouts.
Yeah.
Sometimes I use like the NASDAQ scan, but
I just use Frex all the time.
You like Frex? I like the Edge A stuff.
Fox River.
Fox River is pretty good too.
Fox River.
117 is what I'm looking for on NVIDIA. I don't think we're getting this dip on Intel, and I see in the chat people are talking about AMD.
What?
AMD 104. If it was 103, it would have rhymed, but it's at $104. It's absolutely flying here. So I guess this is the one. What about Micron going?
We already have the one.
Micron, no, that's going to the downside. So it looks like it's only AMD flying.
Yeah, right now, and Palantir is trying to go a little bit now. We just bought 112.60s. It's at 113.25, and we still have the full thing on pretty much. I mean, so I'll get another piece out right here at 13.30. We've done nothing but let this thing rip. So let's wait to see. I mean, look at the market. The market is tanking, and Palantir is ripping to highs right now. Let's go, Palantir. This is a monster trade right now for me. So here we go. Nice move to the upside one more time. Let's get comfortable. You know, like I said, you're never comfortable until you are. And I mean, you know, unless you start ramping your stuff up, you're never going to get to that level. So I'm trying to let this go a little bit here to see if we can do it, because right there it is, man. It's a reverse dollar club on that dip buy. So here we go, man. Palantir's already ripping. Day goal met right there. So let's just keep on going to the high side right there. Like if we had to graduate, we'd be close, just hitting these goals. There it goes, 113.90, 113, 114 right now. Neil, we found the ripper, and it is right here right now. It is Palantir ripping now to highs, 114 and change. It's $1.20 in the money. That's what we're talking about. Happy birthday, Nimit. Happy birthday to all. It's a monster right there for Palantir as we continue to get going. Let's hope for good luck there with NVIDIA as well. But Palantir right now $1.30 and still going. There we go, man. We're getting heated up. That is for sure.
Yeah, great look over there with Palantir as the market continues to bleed, everybody. So first shot, we held above 117 on NVIDIA. Just made a bit of a bottoming tail at 117.3 over. The overnight lower high was 117.30, so it just managed to hold on to that. But when it gets them out in front of 118, because you can't, even though this was part of the plan, you got to acknowledge it's AMD that's just way stronger here and stronger than everything else. And I like NVIDIA and Intel today. Intel's also dipping in, but I got to wait another 1.5% for Intel. I want it in front of 2060. That's the area that we're going to play. Google's falling. The only short idea I wanted was actually Apple. And I don't know that that's really setting us up here. It wicked 198, but there's no breakout that's going to get us to that 200. So for now, it's just NVIDIA. We'll see about QBTS and some of the other small caps after we get more of an opening range. But let's see if this can get first to the 118, make a test of VWAP, and then we can go from there on NVDA. Because it's going well, it's not counter trend to the market. I'm counter trend to the other chip names like an AMD. Which is much stronger right now. So I want it pushing through VWAP, retesting that 119, and then we'll feel a heck of a lot better about this NVIDIA dip buy. For now, it's looking pretty good. Jay Lee talking about Tesla. We didn't even talk about Tesla in the pre-market. That's weird. Nope. Tesla 285. 295 is that massive resistance on Tesla. That I know without looking, because we've all seen it on the chart. So that would be a spot that I would consider a fade. No catalyst on Tesla that I know of, but yeah, flying to the upside. Great look over there on TSLA.
$1.80. And like, we're not messing around. Like this is a big trade here for me today. So I mean, congratulations anybody that sort of was looking at this. And again, you're gonna look at different names. And for me, I said, like, if I thought the market was going to be strong, I really liked this 113 break. And the market was Oppo. So, like, how far is Palantir actually going to go today? This name has a huge, like, we're already $2 in right now. Okay, here comes QBTS. So we just got long on QBTS right now. I'm not going to let this thing ruin my day. That is for damn sure right now. So I'm going to get out if this breaks too much below here. Below $8. So we'll wait to see. We're now long right now at 8.11. I'm going to actually just take a little bit more out right here on Palantir, because that move was pretty insane. I don't really know how far we're going to go on this name, but I was just trying to look at it, and then QBTS came in. So this right here, this little drip is 115.50. That little level right there, and we've sort of gotten back up there. We did have that gap fill back down to the downside. That's just on yesterday or 2 days ago. So nice move down there. Obviously, we've seen earnings, and now you're making all that back up a little bit there. So yeah, 115 looks to be an area. We're at 115 right now. So hard to complain about what's happening right here, as we are now $2 in, and there's 115 right. Wow. Well, it doesn't matter about 115 anymore. It's Palantir. It's on the sticky note, and so is D-Wave. So 2 for 2, well, 2 positions in. I don't know if D-Wave is going to work out or not, but that was quite a dramatic move down into $8, which is kind of what we were thinking about right there. I don't know.
There's not a lot of size on that bid at 8.
By the way, what price did we say ARM was going to get to at some point today? 114? Well, it went 120 to 114. So there's that huge drip down. We called this whole move down, but we didn't call this move up, so it doesn't matter. But if you were sitting there at 114, then hopefully you got that fill. So there it is. It's a nice move down in. I would still look out for this, but yeah,
it had gone too far. It had
gone way too far. That's what I mean. So now coming back into 114.
Just a heads up.
Might be the bid.
QBTS broke 8.
Yeah,
I'm out of that. I'm out of it.
Same.
Yeah, position board's still showing, but I'm not in. There it goes. It just updated because we also lost the low. Both of those. Just come to my chart for a second. It was a little bit delayed, but NVIDIA came up to 118, couldn't break it. You guys saw it live, and then it just broke that low, so we're out of that one. And then QBTS was the same thing. Like, it came right into that $8. I had 6s, as you guys would have seen there, and it goes right through. There's just no curl. It looks like it wants to fill the gap in at this point.
Where's Adara? There she is. Is there anything on in Palantir or anything? Like, this is going nuts in a down market, Neil. Down 0.75% right now. Palantir is absolutely moonshotting right there. So we'll wait to see, man. There's that cash register being run out right now. And yeah, so I don't know. And the only reason I asked for that is because the NVIDIA dripped down on you there, obviously. And
everything is dripping
exactly.
Down. And there isn't a single stock outside of Palantir and Tesla. Oh, AMD is. Check that.
Is it okay.
AMD's also up, but
Apple's
Tesla's at the high.
crushed.
Apple's getting smoked.
Google is okay. But anyways, I'm just
gonna sell Google.
You know, a pig in, you know what, right now with this trade. We are over the moon. This is now $3 in and righting the wrongs of the past couple days. Was that a call for Adara?
I heard something.
Then let's go.
There is a story in Palantir, but it doesn't seem to be anything super big as far as I can tell. This is, I guess, a partnership it announced this morning. I'm seeing this press conference just before 8:30 a.m., so this is by no means brand new breaking news. But basically, apparently the Joint Commission, which is just a healthcare company, and Palantir are announcing a partnership to elevate patient safety and healthcare standards. So yet another partnership or deal here for PLTR. Another name that was pretty strong here early was AppLovin, but it's kind of giving back some of that as of right now. APP was one of yesterday's biggest earnings winners, guys. Back to you.
Like,
all right. All right.
So,
thanks.
I mean, yeah, that's...
I don't know, man.
Something. All right. NVIDIA's trying to go. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, yeah, the only one laughing here is Mike, is at you, Mike, I guess. Palantir is a $50 stock. So then I'm going to tell you to short it then. And then I'll talk to you in a couple weeks, and then maybe we'll see what that position is looking like.
Well, it's $115.50 stock. Anyone can believe a valuation.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If he thinks it's going to go, if he thinks it's a $50 stock, that is cool. I mean, the market doesn't, and that's fine. So I will be. Amazon, I did think about selling some Palantir, right? Especially after the fact that we had that 130 mark. I mean, I do agree. Like when anybody's right now, we are officially. We're $3 in the money over there, Sharif, my guy. No, I don't disagree with you, Mike. I'm just saying that's probably a little bit aggressive. And anybody looking at valuations like PEs and everything like that, 100% agree. Like this is not a stock to be held with if you're looking for, you know, value play.
Well, neither is ARM for that matter, and I own that stock. Like ARM is a ridiculous PE as well. Like
no, I mean there's lots of stocks. I mean
Amazon was terrible. Tesla was
you would have lost out on millions of dollars if you had that same thought about Tesla, about NVIDIA, about Amazon, about any of those stocks that are growth stocks.
What's going on with
I mean,
Tesla
right now, what is going on with Tesla? I have no freaking idea. But right now, I know what's going on with Palantir, and it's just straight hot fire right now. Intel is not coming in to our level, but it is right at this level, at the 200 period moving average. So this could be it. We're now at 3 times daily goal. So, I mean, it's starting to go upside now for Palantir. I'm going to get out of one more piece right now in the 20s, or I just offered, I get 17s. So now we'll wait. Now we'll just wait. We only have about... I'm going to say about 20 to 25%. I'm not even sure how many shares we had there, but about 20 to 25% left as we continue to get up. So there you go. Sean taking some off after 5 or 10 minutes. Yes, what's up right there? I think that's a good idea. I should have probably held and not gone out all the way up, but I feel like I've done well doing that. And yeah, that's about it for me on Palantir. You were talking about Tesla.
Well,
I don't know what else.
I had no
but
plan of action on Tesla today.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I didn't see anything that made me change the tune on Tesla, so I didn't really have any plan. But Nvidia looks like it's still holding that 117, so it made a fresh low, but you're actually got reversal candle. I didn't get right back in, which sometimes I would, but you're still losing VWAP. And as long as that happens, I wait for it to retest the low and make a better rounded bottom. Intel is starting to come into that $0.50 level. I do think that is going to come into play. But Tesla wasn't part of the plan of action outside of the 295 resistance. But it's clearly super strong. Don't know really what's going on with it. I think you work back into the prior resistance, which is 283 when playing a trend. I like to join trends. That's under VWAP though, that 83 level. So we'd have to wait for that. Let's go to Adair. Apparently we have some news.
This is Warner Brothers Discovery. A WBD on watch here. Not only is it a day one earnings play, which it is, they reported this morning, but CNBC reporting that the company is moving towards splitting up. So WBD on watch with earnings and a reported consideration of splitting up the company. Back to you.
Okay, yeah, well, that's interesting right there. That was Warner Brothers, wasn't it? Warner Brothers Discovery? Yeah, okay, so interesting play there. Well, you can look at Netflix, Paramount, all of that. Again, just trying to break that up. We'll see. I think they can unlock some value there. There's the streaming side. There's the production side. All right, so QBTS battled back. So I was like, let's try it again right there at the 200 period, right, on the 1 minute chart. That was at 810. So we actually took some 810 and then it just dripped down again. And I think I got 803s or what did I, 801s. So average price right now on QBTS still out of the money, but 808. Oh, sorry, not out of the money. What am I talking about? 808 right now for QBTS. But what's running back upside? Look at Palantir go. I'm going to take another piece out. This name is like really getting going now as there it goes, man. We are now $4, Neil. Like, I don't even understand what is going on right there with this play, but there goes Palantir, man. You know, you dress for success and you put on these trades. So there it goes, man. It's a nice move higher there for Palantir. Now let's see what winds up happening with QBTS. We're still waiting. I still have my bids on Intel, but that's not till 1650. We talked about that. That's struggling right now. Sorry, on NVIDIA. Intel's bid is down. Me and Neil are looking for the same kind of fills. So
I'm at 61.
Yeah, when that comes in, that will come in hopefully.
I just moved it up.
Right there, yeah. So I've always been in that area for Intel. I'm actually right now at 55, so I could move that up. And then the other one was Mara. So Mara, Ola.
Bitcoin's doing nothing.
Right. So this actually, what did I write down for Mara? 1350. Okay, well that 200 period's right there. I would have wrote down 1350 because of the 200 period moving average. That's where it was at 8:30, at 8, you know, and we're writing this down here, 8 o'clock-ish. So, you know, as it starts to rip back up there, we can see if Mara wants to do anything. But there goes QBTS. So that's going to be a nice little trade there. We'll make back what we lost, and then we'll see if it can get going even more now. QBTS, get some out now, and then we'll see if we can fly just a little bit higher. Offer some outs here, 27s. We're also at 29, but I'm there on BATS. As you can see, that's BATZ there. I don't know why I'm on that. But there it is. We'll see if we get a fill. Anything else would have filled, but there goes BATS as well. So that is another one. So we're very, very happy with today's trade, but Palantir is having a little bit of a problem upside now. I'm gonna get another piece at 93 and just try to hold on now. Now we have about 15% left. QBTS, a good little runner as well.
I want Apple short, but I'm not getting it. It looks like Apple's about to go red. So there hasn't been a pop when the market's not popping at this moment. NVIDIA is retesting the low, so I think patience was the right call on NVIDIA. If it breaks this low, then we just wait again. Looks like this is not the one today, so I'm not going to compound it. We took our first shot at the bounce, and it kind of went to 118, but now it's breaking lower. So if you like the long, you're just going to have to wait a little bit deeper. There is some support. We kind of hung out in the aftermarket at 116.50, and if you get way deep down there, remember 115 is that's the Amazon. Sorry, that's the Alamo. Level, because that was that prior break. Amazon we haven't even looked at today. So 115 is a big level. Intel's starting to look a little bit better, so it might. I'm sitting here at 64, but at this point I'm just going to cancel that order and watch it a little bit more closely. It's trying to bottom right here off the pre-market low and is breaking trend. So there could be a nice little trend break play here on Intel as NVIDIA continues to drop. Glad we're not still long that one because it's going with the market right now and the market is falling heavily. I just can't bring myself to chase Apple down here. It's too far from resistance and I'm not seeing any great short setups that are part of plan. Nike didn't break 60 either, so that one's out the window. Kind of disappointing. Thought that was happening this morning, but not with this weakness. Maybe they don't like that jobs number after all. Maybe.
No, just the market in general, I think, is not like.
That would be strong.
We're waiting for some deals, that's for sure. Okay, here comes NVIDIA, just came in, so we'll see about Hydration Nation, huh? All right, so we'll see what's going on now. NVIDIA falls right into our lap. This is the price that we said we were going to be bidding here today, between 115 and 116. So there it is. We told you we were at 116.50. So let's take out 10% right here if we can for 20 cents. Then we'll take out another 10% for 30 cents. And then this is just how we do it. Wild right there as a quick little scalp there for NVIDIA as it starts. Okay. I mean, did we just nail the bottom again here on NVIDIA? I don't know, but we're sitting there. This is what we talked about. This is why I review the trade. So there it is, man. 20 cents, 30 cents, now 40 cents. We take 3 outs there on the upside, and we're out of half. So just like that, man. 20 cents, 30 cents, 40 cents right there on NVIDIA like it's candy, but we don't know where this is going to go. So I'm going to get out of half of that and now wait to see what's up with that and what's up with this right now. Oh boy, are we on a hot dog kind of cannon kind of a day right here again, Mr. Roberts. There it goes. It's a nice move upside now as there she goes, man. QBTS now 30 cents in the money. Let's take something out at 36 as if we can, and we can. And there it goes, man. So far, so good here today. It's NVIDIA with the banger. Not really, but we'll see where that goes. It's Palantir. Let's go on Palantir. Half out at 14.50. What's left if that comes back in? And then QBTS. We make it back with that little bit of a move right there. We are in the zone. We're in the zone every day, man. The only day I'm not in the zone is when I'm with my lovely wife and family on days off. But every day I'm sitting in this chair, I feel like I have a responsibility to myself and to you guys. Try to put on some good trades. Try to bring the energy. Try to have some fun. And on that note, you want me to go get you a coffee? Because I'm going to go get myself one.
If it's still working.
It's working.
Good, because we definitely need some coffee up in here. Look, the water's supposed to be off, but I don't think they've turned it off just yet. Bit of a bottoming pattern. They just wicked the low, so I'm jumping in for the first time on Intel, and I want to be in. We like it to 2060, so I don't mind taking some 70s in here for sure. And if it breaks trend, I need my tool. If it breaks trend, then I want to be adding to this, and it's real close to doing so. So the market did bleed in, and it bled pretty much on point to yesterday's tops. If you go into yesterday's highs, that's where we wicked. Like the high right in here on the NASDAQ, and then the morning high is where we're basing out. So I think this is a place that you look for that turn, at least in the NASDAQ, and if something is still setting up for that long trade, that's where I want to be. So once we close above that bar, I want to be adding to Intel. I want to add to this position into VWAP, and Apple, this could be the opportunity if the market bounces here to play the fade in Apple. It's either VWAP or we let it get into the high. I still want to be short that name. Along with Google, they were the two big bleeds pretty much well, not all day long, but you saw what happened just before 11 o'clock, of course, on both those names. Got absolutely woodshedded. Google's bringing some back. Apple's bringing some back. But I do believe both of them are looking incredibly weak. And I would favor shorts, but it's Apple that I like a little bit better. Come on. Just give me the chance to get in at VWAP. I don't want to chase it down here and be holding it $1 against me. Because I don't think you necessarily have, that kind of juice scalping it. It's got some bids down here that are starting to work. I didn't want to be back into NVIDIA until we tested a little bit lower or broke the trend. But if we get back above 117, that'll look a bit better. And right now, the trend is way up here, too tight to VWAP, so it's not really setting up the way that you'd want it. The other name that I want to watch for you guys is that ASST. We talked about this yesterday. Going to halt a lot of these names. Halted to the downside. I said, watch out for this thing at 5. Well, it's going to open right at $5, it looks like. That's like an instant test of the biggest level. If it gaps underneath that, I think you're in a world of hurt. Intel did not break 70, so I don't know why I'm out of it. I'm going to get right back into the same price. Why not? Because it did not break the 70 level. So ASST's tapping 520, so that is down, but not down by a heck of a lot. So I think it opened above 5, and you're going to look okay, but just okay for that particular name. All right, here comes Apple. I think this market bounce can give us a little something, but it's already back into the downside. If this is all we get, then I try to get my beak wet, as Sharif would say, with the first lower high available. And that push only got you like 30 or 40 cents. Well, I guess I'm into Apple short, but we're doing it in the consolidation bottom. Thanks there, Sean. We're in the consolidation bottom, which is away from VWAP. That means I got to give it to that local high. At that point, I wait for VWAP and try it again. But we are into Apple short. The market is headed down. I don't know if the market's going to go red, but Apple is red in a couple of pennies here, down 1 point or 0.16%. Doesn't look all that great for a couple of these Mag 7 names.
Just a shout out to Andre. I don't have I left my earpiece somewhere. I have to go find it. All right, so if you need me, just tell Neil. Okay, there goes NVIDIA right now. I'm going to get it in a minute anyways. There goes NVIDIA again. We'll props it up, man. I mean, this is the day. We're having the day, like right now. QBTS is up in, wow. QBTS is up into 40s, okay. We'll take a 42. We'll take a 42, Phil, right there, as that's going to the upside right now. And you know, really the only one that I'm thinking about being in a little bit of trouble here is NVIDIA. And it's always so easy when we make plays that we believe in, right? And I mean, and I said this about Luis, and this is why I'm saying to everybody, everybody's style is completely different, right? This is why we put out our notes. And like, this is the trade that we're looking for. NVIDIA long, we're looking for Intel long, we're looking for Mara long, we're looking for QBTS at that price, $8. I mean, it's now at $8.50. Palantir, we're looking long. So it's like all of these plays are things that we're looking for. Now, are you ever going to get the exact price? Are you ever going to, like, no, but you have to have the strategies in place. And that's why when we go over to a guy, like Luis there, and I say, you know, this man's been in business now for a decade. It's
easily long.
However long he's been in there, it's because there's strategies and because, you know, there's something in place there that has been working, right? And I mean, here it goes right now, and it's just about sticking with what you're doing. And you know, we waited for NVIDIA. We've done the work. I've stared at charts literally, not literally, I guess that wouldn't make any sense, but almost my whole life. So, you know, to pick levels and things like that, I have a lot of fun doing it. And, you know, this is just something that I really enjoy doing. And if you don't, like, look at NVIDIA right now. I mean, this is like, it's like the casino's open, but the odds are forever in your favor if you do have risk management and you do have, you know, an idea and an eye for this game. Because right now it's 1 Joe, 2 Joe, 3 Joe, 4 Joe. Right now in the money for my guy over there, Mr. Maple Leaf himself, Joe Wilson, getting ready to fire it off right there, back to the upside as your namesake, Joseph Wall. A good performance there. But there it goes, man. There goes Palantir. Wow. Again, like as I said, to each their own. Everybody's strategy is going to be their own. I wish I would have held it all. But guess what, Neil? I know you tried NVIDIA early, but we got a little bit of a good bottom take right there to the fact that it's also going to the club right now. And there goes NVIDIA all the way up to 117.50. So we're going to take out another piece there. It's only 90 cents in the money, but we'll take out a piece right there as well. 50 cents on QBTS, $4 on Palantir, and $1 on NVIDIA. So like I said, man, I'm not here for the looks. I'm here for the trade. And there it goes. It's a nice move to the upside. I'm going to go find my earpiece.
Yeah, go ahead and get it. Great trade over there. Apple just bounced off LOD, so it just bounced low of the day. And it's also prior close. So got to watch out for this one. It's the first short we had available on the stock that we wanted short, but prior close is holding on Apple. That means no reload, might even get it all out. You know what? Play with your gut. My gut says hold off prior close and it's breaking the trend. Just jump out of the trade and wait for the better opportunity. We did that 2 days ago with Palantir. And I remember it was the right thing to do all afternoon 2 days ago. We're like, no, that wasn't right. Just jump out. So I'm going to go with the gut here. Even though I like the short, it looks like we're breaking trend, and it just held. It was trying to go red. You wicked the bottom by 2 cents and then held the prior close. To me, that's going to be an out. And I'll go right on over to, before I hold this sneeze. I tried to hold it.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, I tried to hold that
tried.
one. IBIT, still no break of 100K. Can't get above the volume-weighted average price. I want to be long Bitcoin today, but there's nothing about it that's setting up, so I can't force the action on IBIT. As much as I want to be into this one, I can't will it. Well, nobody can will a stock to do anything, and it's essentially riding VWAP at this point and looking incredibly weak. What is happening, however,
What about Yoda?
Well, Yoda could do it.
Okay, there you
There's a bottoming tail candle on Intel, so I gave it a really tight stop before, 75 to 70. better setup here with the bottoming tail candle. All you have to do is close this one green above 2075, and then that sets up the long. So I think it was the right decision to get out of Apple, just based on the gut. If it breaks low, we can always jump back into that short. But the market caught a bid off that prior high. So I want to give us a chance here. So once we close above 75, I'm taking that break and playing it into VWAP, sticking with Intel, which was part of that plan. I'll look back on AMD at some point and maybe decide that that was the one. But for now, Intel's at our price.
All right. Oh, Intel's at our price. Okay. Are you just waiting for lower? What is it? Oh, 70s. Okay.
No, it bounced off 65 just now.
Oh no. Okay, yeah, we're at 55. So okay, so we'll wait for that one. Yeah, so it's getting close for sure. All right, Intel. Okay, so we did get some more out there on QBTS at that level, but we do have numbers for 10 o'clock. So let's go over to Adara.
Just waiting here at wholesale. Inventory is about 10 seconds till we get that number. It's going to be a print for March. 0.5% is expected. 0.5% was also the previous print. Wholesale sales month for month, I'm also seeing here 0.9% expected, previous 2.4%. Numbers are in lower than expected for both. So for wholesale inventories month over month, we get 0.4% versus estimates of 0.5%. Wholesale sales month over month, 0.6% versus 0.9% expected. So inventories and sales there lower than estimates. NASDAQ here trying to push a low of day. We are awaiting a trade announcement from President Donald Trump. This announcement, according to indications on Trump's True Social account, probably going to have something to do here with the UK when it comes to trade. But we're going to have to wait and find out exactly what comes. No stream has started yet. I'm seeing some streams just kind of show the exterior of the White House. So we don't have that meeting started, but you guys know I'll keep an eye on it and let you know if there are any updates. Here, I want to talk about, we had a lot of earnings names today, but I want to talk about some earnings names we haven't really discussed as much, including AAPL. AAPL, I'm going to move this here so you can see it better. Really strong here on earnings day one. They did report a double beat, and it's worth noting here, revenue up 40%, advertising revenue up 71%. And then we have Krispy Kreme looking the opposite, though nice bounce here off this double bottom. DNUT, inline EPS, missing on sales, lower than expected Q2 guidance, and withdrawing its fiscal 2025 guidance, citing macroeconomic uncertainty. So DNUT and APP telling two very different day one earnings stories. Make sure to like and subscribe and get ready here for that Trump trade announcement, whenever it may come. Back to you.
So not at 10.
Oh, wow, it's 10 o'clock right now.
It's 10 o'clock, but it's a press conference, so it's like you'll see it all live, and you can follow along. And Derry's going to have anything for you. Apple does. The market just bounced off the lows solidly, and Apple broke the lows. So that was a bad signal. That was a false bounce on Apple. It's continuing to go lower. This and Google are in trouble at this point. I'm not chasing it down here. We'll wait for the next opportunity. But the difference is even Google bounced. You look up, Google bounced, market bounced, everything else bounced, and Apple made a fresh low. So sometimes that kind of an indicator gets you wrong. I'm not going to jump over to Google or anything like that. We'll stick with looking for the Apple short. And there is another bottoming tail on Intel. So that's INTC. Say it out loud. Whoops. Why would ICG even come up in my dropdown? That doesn't even make any sense when I typed INTC. So there's your higher low. Bottoming. It just did another bottoming tail, but this time even higher. So the trend is now broken on Intel. There's your trend line. It's broken. Don't care how you draw it. We give it to the low. We want to play this one back into the volume weighted average price. But Apple, the short might be gone on Apple. The next cluster of any green prints, we'll try to short back into that one because it's looking incredibly weak. I know we didn't really talk too much about crypto. Coinbase had a deal, and it's not doing anything at all. Bitcoin, Coinbase, all of these are not nearly as exciting as we wanted them to be. But you are trying to break out VWAP. It's IBIT that I'm watching, and that's IBIT that I want long, and you have a nice reversal happening on IBIT. If it can start to creep above the volume-weighted average price, this is something I want to start to get long in now that it's looking a little bit better. Just had to be patient with it. Not a lot of volatility. And I guess there's a lot of sellers in front of 100K. I guess that makes sense.
Okay, so I just want to say a big shout out. First of all, look at QBTS, whether or not you're trading $8 names. I told you, like runners, whatever, man, whatever your style, I'm all over everything right now today. Like this QBTS, thank you to Adara and thank you to our whole team for building up that watch list because QBTS has definitely added to our P&L today. But I'm about to do something right now. If we get, if we get 1.5, like first of all, we have 10,551 right now watching. So my hat's off to you. I say bang, and I say awesome. But this little like button over here. 961. Let's get to 1,500 and then we'll do some roll call. I'm going to shout everybody out who's in the chat, but we need to get to 1,500. So then we'll start. Okay, well, we're already at 1K, so that was fast. Let's just get that going up to 1,500. We'll do a little bit of a roll call. We'll have lots of fun there. Shout out who is with us right now. And if you've got these on, man, put your mitts on because it is diamond hand time. There goes QBTS, man, all the way up into 70s right now as that's starting to get going. So there goes QBTS. Thank you guys for watching. No matter what stock you're trading today, I hope you're trading one of these ones, man, whether or not it be Palantir, which is still $4 in the money and at day's high, or whether it's not NVIDIA, which is that move right now into the money, whether or not it's your boy Tesla ripping up right now either. I mean, huge move today for Tesla, 280 up to 286, although it's better in my guy over there as well, Palantir. And then here's another one that we're getting excited about. Let's go. Hit the like button for this guy. What's up with the biggest of the bears, man? There's Big Bear AI is trying to go. Nah. Don't wave to me yet, my guys. You're not getting the roll call yet. We're at 1.3K. You need to get a little bit more to that, and then we'll start the waves. But I say hi to everybody who's out there right now because this has been a fantastic little run for us. Still 10,500. So you guys hit the like button and we'll go off on our roll call. But that's what's going on. I mean, you're into Intel now, so that's going to be good. I'm waiting for a little bit lower on that one. A quick little check in on another company that's reported right there today, Shopify. Good little look there for Shopify, bouncing off of those lows. So that was a nervous Nancy trade there, down to 85, back to 91. I just got filled on something. Oh. Wow, 10% trade right there on QBTS as we take 75 cents, let's call it 9%, on an $8 stock. So, so far so good there for QBTS, but good. Let's see if Intel can go.
Well, it's starting to go. It's just rounded into the 80 level. Every 5, 10, 15 is where you take it on. Well, usually that's what you want to do on Intel because that's the kind of range that it puts in. The number one thing that I want right now is a way back into Apple that doesn't have me FOMOing into the short at the low of the day. At this point, it's so distinctly different from almost every other tech name that at least I'm watching right now. Like the NASDAQ did just pull back up a little bit, retested some lows, and Apple did absolutely nothing. Except continue lower. So I got tricked out of it, and you're going to see it continue to go. Intel it's making that rounded bottom. I'm going to get some out into VWAP, and if we get to 21, at that point, I want to be out at least 70% and then hold on to the rest for the high because that's a failed breakout at 21. So I want to play this as like a mean reversion trade and scalp trade. So I got my offers out there lined up and ready to go. I just looked over at NVIDIA, and it's still in that lower high trend down. Like I want it to either break the trend or give us a shot at the 115 level. And while we're looking at the chips, AMD is just holding the line right now. Like if anything, the market breaks lower, AMD is looking like a trend reverse. Like I hate to say it because I wanted to be long the chips today. That looks like a trend break on AMD if we lose the volume weighted average price. Let's go to Adara, see if we have any updates from the Trump conference.
Wish I did, Neil. I do not have anything. The stream has not started. In fact, they literally have the moderator in the stream saying he was supposed to start at 10. We will let you know when he starts because it's just at this point still showing the White House. But there's another conference happening right now. You might have seen it. I believe I put it on our second stream, economic data. But basically, we have some AI CEOs testifying in a Senate hearing on AI competition. Right now, it just looks like it's going to be Sam Altman, who is the CEO and co-founder here of OpenAI. So I am listening to this testimony right now. I will be redirecting my focus to Trump once President Trump's press conference begins, just to let you guys know there's a lot of talking from a lot of people on Watch Today, and I'll be giving you all of it. Back to you.
Chinese names are...
Yeah, maybe they were hoping that there was going to be a Chinese deal coming. All right, yeah, it's going to be the deal with the UK, so that's going to be good. I'm sure they're just getting that lined up. So I'm just going to use, I have 10% left of Palantir. I mean, we just kept on getting out, and our best out is 1670. rate there. So again, my stop was breaking through $12. So we gave this one about 50 or 60 cents, maybe 80 cents worth of a stop. Remember, we put the stop in, it was 11.89. So let's just call it, where am I long at? So about 80 cents worth of a stop there. You know, it's well cooked now to the upside, especially, I mean, we're not going to sit here and watch this happen to the market and not think about where our stop would be on some of these names, right? And so I don't think this is going to fall out of bed or anything like that, but what about a 115? So that's where I have half of what I have left coming out. I don't think that's going to happen, but if it does, that is what it is. I do have an offer at 116.80, which would be that top again, and then through 117. So if it goes there, great. All good. Neil's in Intel, so I'm just going to look at it myself. So it's not quite ready for me to get cooking yet on that one. Netflix right now, I mean, QBTS, just so everybody knows, I have 20% left. Wow, we just got, oh yeah, that's right, we got that 74, right, that was the big one, yeah. So we only have 20% left of that one, a positive stock. We're 3 for 3 here today, and it's been a good day, so I'm not trying to like lose everything, but on my next trade, so we're gonna have to be very, very careful, but I'm not afraid to do anything. We're waiting for $20.55, which is what we wrote down here on Intel. So I do like the fact that you know, it's giving you these dip buy opportunities, but we just have to wait for that. So $20.60, we'll figure it out for that one. And then oh, Netflix, I don't know if I just called it up, but I wanted to. $1,150. So it's down today, you know, but what a name, man. This name, I just wanted to check in on it to see what the temperature was over there. And then Google as well, temperature check. Holding, you know, doesn't need to see a doctor yet today. Still only up 1.5% after being up nearly 3%. So it's given back just a little bit there. Wow, this market, man, what a great tank off some of those levels.
I'm not happy with that getting shaken out of Apple there. Saw the market bounce and I got myself shook out of it. Apple's now down at 195. It's red. It's looking bad. AMD is a trend break. So it's a simple, they closed underneath the trend line and broke the prior bar. In this case, I'm ignoring VWAP for the bigger part of what I'm seeing here, but I got to give it only to the prior bar high. It's the same rule as always, and I mean, Intel's still kind of doing the same thing. So the way I see it is, you know, you break the prior bar, you can get out of Intel. We break the prior bar, get out of AMD. It's always possible that both of these can take the paper cut. But if they start trending away, I need to get back into the one that's working. Right, so you have a trend reversal. Even if I get wicked out, if it sets right back up to a short, then I jump back into the short. And it's the same thing with the Intel long at this level. I did want to at least look at ASST. What just happened?
Palantir just bumped $1.
Okay.
As if it wasn't even. Anyways, go ahead, guys. I just got filled there.
No, the other thing I was going to say is ASST opened up and bounced exactly off of $5. So it's holding the line closer to $5 than even I was expecting. So this is a key level here. Obviously, if it can break away from 5, I think it's got a good second salvo. So here's your test of the $5 level coming on ASST. Fortunately, right now, I'm looking at these chip names because if we break this on AMD down under VWAP, then I got to be adding to this position. Right? Like it's broken trend. The market just made a fresh low. Intel just came out to the downside. If we lose VWAP, I want to be adding to short in advanced micro devices. 195 even on Apple. You gotta be kidding me. SPY is taking it on the chin.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I know it's been a little rough on some of these names.
The key is try to make the loss. Like I haven't had a single. I'm 0 for 5. Not a single loss is half as big as my best win yesterday. That's how you stay green, everybody.
Yeah. 0 for 5 is what will happen, right? We'll go through.
Actually, that's not true because I'm up on Apple.
Right. Okay. So 1 for 4.
No, but I consider it a fail because I got out of a great short. So I don't grade that as a positive stock when I had a huge short and I got it too early.
Yeah, exactly. So we just had a huge, I don't know what just happened there with Palantir, but that absolutely, come on, pro day trader. We've got, thank you so much for everything, man. Neil is always eating. Yeah, that's probably true.
It's true.
And shout out to me, no show, no Sean. Nah, there's a show. I wasn't here on Tuesday, and there was still a show. Shout out to Obi, who's not here today. He wasn't here yesterday either, but I think he's trading remotely as well. So thank you so much to everybody for today again. So I just got out of some NVIDIA. Oh boy. What is QBTS even doing now? Yeah, we're living. I feel like living, living the life, sitting here, being able to do this, man, with other people's money has been great. So that's the only way I've ever traded, which is probably why I have some of this, you know, kind of feeling here about being able to do some of this on different stocks, being able to trade different strategies all the time, right? And adapting. I think that's super importante. All right, so what else you guys want to talk about? All right, so SPY, SPXL, Tesla, Meta, Mara. Let's go check out our next one. So I canceled, by the way, I canceled my Intel there. I don't, I'm going to wait. Like we're having a really big day, so I'm just going to wait on that one. We did talk about Mara, and unfortunately I was bidding 13. I mean, I wrote down here 1350 long. It looks like it gets as low as 1376, and we probably should have done something about that, but we didn't. As Bitcoin's still doing absolutely nothing today, 99.2, which kind of, it's great. I mean, it's a great level, but when we looked at it earlier, it was 99.4. Mara, I was at 1360. So a little bit of a miss there. I'm going to start to now cancel some of these bids, right? And that's what I did on Intel, because these are trades that I have ideas for early, you know, and when they don't come through, I don't now, like now my opinion has changed on Intel. You know, now I'm looking short. I would be looking short. So for me to sit here and take a long, I don't think is going to be something that I'm going to be pleased with, because even coming back in and giving up 10% or something like that of my net, just because I'm trying something that I thought was going to be good at 830 is different strategy than what I'm thinking about at 1030. So for right now, that's the look. If you are following me, I want to thank you for that, because right now we had, you know, most of these, all of these plays, first of all the longs are all written here, all the ones I've had today, Palantir, QBTS, and NVIDIA. So they're all on there. And I want to thank the 3,200 of you for viewing that with 45 likes. So thank you for doing all of that on the sticky note. I mean, it means a lot to all of us that we support the whole show. So again, thanks for hitting the like. Thanks for the subscribe. Let's keep everything going. We did get out some more. Did I get some more QBTS? I did. So we did wind up getting some more QBTS. It's quite obvious that $9 might be a stopping zone there. So I'm going to put out some more shares at 885, and then we'll put something out at 896, and then we'll almost be out of everything. So I only have 15% left. A lot of the outs were rated around here. VWAP 840 to 850. Those are pretty significant. We did run that because we were like, wow, that happened pretty quick. So we did get a lot out there in the 30s as well, but the majority of them at the 40s or 50s area, putting us green. So green on QBTS, and then Palantir, we did take advantage of that move higher. We said we were sitting there at 80, so we get that fill, and that came out of absolutely nowhere. Someone must have hit the buy key there. Probably Kathy is in there buying. So, you know, I'll talk to her on Mother's Day, and then we'll see what's going on. But there's Kathy Wood. What's up, Kathy Wood? So we'll figure that out. But I bet you someone came in there and just bought, like that was doing nothing. And then it ripped up, and we did get out some more more NVIDIA there at 117. So this was my lightest position out of all three, was NVIDIA, because it didn't come into me. So yeah, that was that. It came in, but not enough. It came to 1650. I told you that was the bid. Our bigger bid was at 1610, and that didn't hit. So we're waiting for that one. Yeah, just sitting on the hands right now. Thank you, Jorge, and everybody else there for the nice comments about the trading today. And I mean, this is what we're doing. You have Joe and Sharif coming on the midday, which has a completely different style. And as you just heard Neil say as well, in and out of a few trades. So we're pushing keys today, man. I mean, the market's moving. Tesla, by the way, Neil.
Tesla came all the way back in. Look, we just, Apple just mean reverted off 195 with a bottoming tail candle. You're going to see, if you missed the move, which obviously I missed the short because I was in it and I took it out earlier, and I'll probably talk a bit more about that later. Mean reversion off 195. I'm not going to chase it down here. I said I didn't want to chase it. I had to set up a short. Instead, it gives you a little bit of a long setup. It's not really pressing through to the quarters here. So it broke. There it is. I thought I was offering, I was actually offering 25. All right, it doesn't want to go. We punched long through 195 and got sevens on the way back up of that prior bar, and then it immediately stalls at the quarters. I want to be short this name overall, so I'm looking to be short back into VWAP or the even dollar. So the second the tape reverses, I want to get out of this and start thinking about a short again in Apple. And I heard CoreWeave, but I didn't catch the news there. And
just that was moving higher. That's what I heard. I'm not sure if there was.
You know what? CoreWeave is not as correlated to NVIDIA as you'd think. Because if that's breaking highs, it did this the other day. I think it was the day you were gone. CoreWeave was really strong, and NVIDIA was kind of in a downward trend. So a little surprised by that, but I'm gonna be watching Apple for reversion, gonna punch out if I see heavy tape in front of 96 and look for a place to be short, because I want to be shorting pops on Apple. But it's set up a mean reversion trade, so I take it. It's that simple. If it's only a $0.50, 75 cents up here where it turns, then I don't mind getting out, because the idea is to be short the stock overall. It's weird that it'll work so cleanly to the long side, but that's a bungle. And that's why I don't grade that. Like you heard me say, I'll go 0 for 5. But I was up on Apple at that point. But you can't take that trade, make a gut decision to get out for a small win, and then immediately it flushes. I'm not going to grade that as a winning trade. Like that's, to me, makes no sense, because then you just do it again. And that was a wrong thing to get out. So I don't want to, in my head, think that that was good when obviously it was the wrong decision. Grade your decisions, everybody. That's what matters. So tape still looks pretty good on Apple. Struggling a bit at this $0.50, like the 195.50. But for now, they're still at least bidding it up whenever someone swipes this ask. And apparently we've got some breaking news and the small cap
apparently we're
recap
gonna have
coming
some
up.
small caps coming up very soon. So it is 10:20. Thank you to everybody again here. If there's any, okay, let's just go now.
Oh, we'll just go now.
That's okay.
Yeah, sorry about that. If everyone's cool, I'll start now because I actually also have an answer for you guys about CoreWeave and why that might be unwatched. I mentioned earlier that Sam Altman was testifying in front of the Senate Committee on AI, but he's not the only AI CEO there, though it's been, if you look online, you look at the YouTube videos, you think it was only him because it's really been touted as Sam Altman testifies. Lisa Su of AMD is also testifying today for the Senate Committee, as is the CEO of CoreWeave, which might be why that one's unwatched. Brad Smith of Microsoft is testifying as well. He's not the CEO, but he's the president. He's been involved for a multitude of years. But just be aware that these individuals are testifying as we continue to await President Donald Trump and his trade announcement. That was supposed to start about 20 minutes ago. I still have that stream on. I'm waiting for it to start up. IWM, lower highs, lower lows, much like what we had with the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, a gap up that it is really struggling to maintain. Let's see if it has any kind of support here at this 198.50 level, which is a little bit of resistance if you go back to yesterday. Here is Pony AI, PONY, about a $4.5 billion market cap on Tuesday morning, announcing the strategic partnership with Uber. This one's been really strong as of late and does get an ample amount of retail attention. Here's GPUS. This is another multi-day player. On Monday morning, they announced some preliminary earnings, which are pretty well received here. Hyperscale Data has a 15% short float. And last but not least, SEZL, like Pony AI, it's not strictly a small cap. Sezzle Inc. has about it was a $2.5 billion market cap. So $2.5 billion market cap. Earnings beat, sales beat, guidance well above expectations here for fiscal 2025. And Sezzle has a 20% short float, more or less. So lots of these heavily shorted names that retail traders are enjoying here on the small cap list today as I continue to listen to this testimony. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Adara. And the second I saw that weakness, I just got out of Apple. It's underneath 196. It got right to the 70 level. Well, 75, actually, the three-quarter mark, and then a little bit of a tape reversal. Remember the idea, I want to be short the stock. I'm favoring the short in Apple. So obviously on this move up, while nice, I'm looking for the curl into 96 or the volume-weighted average price. Last time we had it short was 196.5, so it could just get right there. But I'm starting to now look for a reversion back in the other direction, and the prior close was 196.25. So as long as it's red or under VWAP, we want to give it another shot. I like a mean reversion trade, but I'm only going to give it so far. Intel's still doing the exact same thing. Like, it's actually holding the bid. Like, keep taking like these little shots at it, but it's starting to look a little bit better. It's holding the line very nicely. I'm going to jump back in here. Give it to the actual low of the day, which oddly enough I didn't last time. It's strange.
Yeah, we just we take a banger, hopefully a banger. We take a little bit profit there. Who knows where it's going to go? Here comes Tesla coming in a lot, so it's a good thing. I was just gonna. That's why we hit that alarm, man. Tesla, good move there, up to 281.30s. 281.15s. We want. Here it comes. I'm getting out of Tesla if it takes that low. Like, I don't know, the futures just had a little bit of a bump. We're long Tesla right now at 40s. Let's see if we can get a little bit higher now, back into the 70s or so. But if we lose this, we'll lose 80 cents or so. If this breaks that low, it's 279. It's 279. I put 279.50. So it looks like we could take this L right now. I mean, we could get out right now and take 40 cents of a hit, but we are underneath 280. Let's just see if it wants. It's not going to go. Let's just see if it wants to. Nope, there it goes. I was going to say, let's just see if it wanted to bump back up there. But again, like, smaller hits, but bigger. Okay, now it's trying to go back to the upside right here. We'll try one more time against that same out, as if we just punched the very bottom there on Tesla. That's too bad, but okay, we got some.
280?
Yeah, it just fell. That's what I was trying to buy, the 280s right here.
It was so strong.
Yeah, it was. I mean, definitely was strong, but not so much now. What's up, Adara?
So keep an eye here on the market. I am still not seeing that this Trump conference has begun, and I do have a stream open for it, but I'm seeing Telegraph, which is, I believe, a publication based in the UK, reporting some of these tariff-related deals that apparently the US and UK are going to announce. Again, I would like to clarify they have not yet announced them. But so basically we're seeing here a US reportedly set to cut tariffs on UK cars to 10%. We're also seeing apparently beef tariffs will be cut to close to zero. That's what I'm seeing here from Telegraph. Looks like the market got a bit of a move on, whispers of tariffs, but this is just a report from the Telegraph. We, again, do not have any talk from Donald Trump yet. Lisa Su, Dr. Lisa Su, CEO of AMD, currently testifying at the Senate hearing on AI after Sam Altman completed his testimony. Back to you.
And maybe that's why Tesla's moving, but now we're in a dollar again. What's up, Ozan? So there it is, man. We're going to be positive on Tesla. We made the bottom there. Like we literally, as my kids would say, Dad, you literally punched the bottom right there because it breaks and I get out. And then we just bought it right back to the upside right now. So now we're sitting in a dollar there. But yeah, we'll still be... Well, we're flat on Tesla right now because we lost 70 or 80 cents. Plus, we have this position pending still. So let's see if it goes back to the upside. But you've got that Apple on your mind, I guess, over there.
Well, Apple did the reversal like I expected, but it's actually holding up pretty nicely. So I don't want to be long Apple. The idea is to be short Apple. It's not getting into VWAP. Intel did hold the line, so we're into that one, actually trying to add on the way back upside. But you know what, everybody? Traders funded by Trade the Pool have been cashing out big.
79.
We're talking about 5,300, 15,200, 36K, even $29,940 on a single trade. Here's how it works. Pay a one-time evaluation fee starting at $47. And that's your total risk. Trade real shares, no CFDs, using up to $200,000 in company capital, and you keep 70% of the profits, no margin calls, no account blowups. Check out Trade the Pool and scan the QR code in front of you to get 10% off and start your journey. Shout out to TTP Trade the Pool.
Yeah, man, I would destroy that Trade the Pool. Oh, wow. Now QBTS is now $9 right now. So there goes Tesla right now to the upside, man. We are now $2. I mean, come on. $2 in the money on Tesla, $1 in the money on QBTS, $4 in the money on Palantir, and $1 now on NVIDIA. So, yeah, man, this has probably been... I don't know, just a pretty decent day, needless to say here. And, like we keep saying, man, everybody, thank you for watching. Thank you for enjoying the content, man. And, this is what it's about. It's about, the positive vibes, having some good feels around here. We've got a great team of hosts. And, this is what we continue to do. Like we said, man, we could still have, and Neil just talked about his Apple trade there. He's, put on a bunch of different trades here today. We'll go 4 for 4. And it's just, this is what it's about. Having a good time, being able to sit here, play the markets, have a different market every day. Like this guy is supposed to be, like, look what's, like Tesla's now it's 2 and still going. Let me get out a piece. Let me get a piece of 75. All right, so we're gonna, I mean, if I just didn't get stopped at the bottom, I did have more shares back then, but we'll turn this one green there as well. I know you guys want me to look at everything, Robinhood and all that. I can't put the magic touch on all of the stocks. I'll do it on these 4. For now, we're at the highest spot we've been at all day, and we're pretty proud of it, obviously. As there goes QBTS. QBTS is now $1 on an $8 name. So we're not just doing this on $200 names, man. We're doing it on $8 names. So it's been a big day here, needless to say, for everybody. So just congratulations and thank you for watching. And we're not going anywhere. So enjoy us after this show is the main show here on the midday with Sharif and Joe. That should be good. Adara's going nowhere. She does the news for us. A big thank you to Andre. Thank you to Bears versus Bulls as well. So here we go, man. We're breaking through 282 right now. We're $8 in the money in total on these positions. So Neil's back long into Intel there. So there's lots of stuff happening. And thank you again to everybody for doing this, man. I can't manage a Discord. Come on. All right. You want to talk about your Intel?
Yeah, it's starting to get through VWAP. It'll get more exciting when we bust through VWAP. It's done a nice little bottoming tail. Took a few like small cuts in there. It never pulled down all the way into the 60 level. So it didn't really get to, here, I'll show you 15. That'll do a little bit more justice. It didn't get into like what I called like the best buy zone, which was down into here. Like I wanted it filling in this gap and accumulating down in here with a low of like, that's like 55 or so. I said 2060, it's kind of like that midpoint. So it didn't get all the way, but if we can get back to 21, I'll hold on to 20% for the dream and then try to work into more longs. If we go full V-shape and break out, then there should be more opportunities, like buys off VWAP, like buys on a higher low break, like breaking out and then putting in higher lows. I want that trend trade as well, and we can stick with that to the long side. I said I prefer short in Apple. It hasn't even moved since I got out of it, like up and down maybe 15 cents or so. So we did take a mean reversion trade long. I wish that was a hold of the short the whole way. The next play I'm thinking still looks short in front of the volume weighted average price. Google is actually a little stronger than Apple right now. So it looks like Apple is the weak one of the Mag 7 names. So I want to stick to thinking that one's going to be the short. So try to keep it in the pocket there. Still no trades in Bitcoin. So I came in thinking it would be a Bitcoin kind of day with 100K in play. It's only now holding above the volume weighted average price, and it only took an hour. But it is. There's your consolidation. There's your break. So now I want to go long in front of VWAP on Bitcoin. Yeah, sometimes you have to be a little bit more patient than you thought. I thought Bitcoin would be so much more active today. Like at least a failed break of 100K would at least be something. But now it's above the volume weighted average price. That's your first. There's your close and breakout. Now we're long. VWAP actually sits right at 56.50. So if you lose a $0.50, it's kind of an easy out there. But first trade in Bitcoin, and the market's trying to get back upside. We're still green on the NASDAQ, but it's trending down for now.
Palantir, I mean, Palantir, QBTS, NVIDIA. I mean, Palantir is like, it's just like, did you buy the dip on earnings or what? Back to 117 right now? All right. All right, let's go back over now. It is Adara on crypto. Put some names in the chat, guys. You know, you guys mentioned Tesla. We went over there. I'm very, very glad to have done that. So, yeah, let us know if there's any other names you want to look at. ARM, Shopify, things like that. We'll do that when we get back from Adara. And Neil was just talking about this. So it's your crypto minute. Let's go see what Adara's up to.
Here is Bitcoin. I mean, this has really been quite the story we had. I'm just going to like zoom out, talk about a little bit wider term for Bitcoin, if I may. We had this double top around that 108,000 level. Then once we made the second high on Inauguration Day, we had that descent to the downside. But really, I would say this bounce back started with that double top just below 75,000. From there, then we made a bull flag, and we're actually trying to kind of come full circle, do this rounded bottom, if you will. We have not been at this level near 100,000 since February 21st of 2025, and we haven't been above 100,000 since much earlier in February 2025. So big level here for BTC. Let's see if they're able to kind of stay here. But as far as I'm seeing here on TradingView, again, there's always going to be slightly different metrics depending on where you're looking at Bitcoin's price. Right now, I'm seeing a high of day of 99,919. So we have not yet broken above 100,000 today. Let's see if we end up getting that push today. But a lot of these crypto names are going to be in watch too, with Coinbase and Marathon Digital reporting post-market earnings. Bitcoin 2% to the upside. Ethereum, we were just talking about this being back above 1,800. Now it's knocking on the door of 2,000, up 8.5%. XRP up 3.5%. Solana 6%. Dogecoin and Cardano both 7%. So great look here for crypto. We were talking about this being trading kind of tightly lately. That is not the case today. It's been a great look here for any of these crypto plays. Like, subscribe, and join us every single day. Back to you.
Yeah, obviously Bitcoin's trying to make a run at 100K. I wouldn't be surprised. We've seen this story before where like the first test of the level is like a failed breakout. So I don't know that like, I don't want the break of 100K. I think I'd rather let it break, let it fail, buy back into the volume weighted average price and let it run a second time. That's why I prefer going long into that type of break. It's so much different if you just break out right away at 9:30 and go flying and go ham. Because that's a different play from, hey, let's break out in the middle of the day while Trump is talking when any move can get reversed. I don't want to get caught in that kind of a trap. Like, it could be like an 11 o'clock 100K break, and I think that's more of a buy the dip opportunity. But for now, we're offering out, I believe it's like 56.90, something like 91 or 92. That's actually 100K, or maybe it's closer to like 89. It's somewhere in the high 80s, low 90s. That's going to be 100K. So scalp out into that, and then buy the dip back into VWAP if we fail that move. And speaking of the volume weighted average price, Intel still can't punch through the volume weighted average price. It actually just wicked it there. So wick the volume weighted average price. I'm going to get one more out there. Then we wait for 21. So Bitcoin and Intel both continuing to work, and Apple. Now it's powering into the volume, into VWAP. So it's looking strong in here. Remember, it just only now went green on the day, and it's still underneath that opening range top, which was about 197. So if it can curl and revert, I still want to look for the short opportunity in Apple, but it's into some strength now. So got to be careful with that.
So the 50-period moving average, Palantir is still going, but it's too, like, we got out of a lot of that trade. Like, have like 7 or 8% left. All right, so I was gonna do the same kind of thing right here and just think about getting some out. This is the 50-period moving average. We still have about 30% or so of Tesla, so that's pretty good. It's been barcoding here at 282, and so what I mean by that is just it's like going back and forth, up and down. Right now, having the low of about 50 and the high of about 8 now. So, excuse me, if we can get that break, that'd be good. I feel like QBTS has gone like a lot already. I mean, obviously there was earnings there, but I just took some out on that top. I mean, I sort of zoomed back out and we saw $9.40, $9.35 right there. So able to sit there and get some of that out as well at this $9.20 area. So right into there. Very small left. The only thing that we have significant piece on, I guess, would be Tesla, but this is coming up to an area where I'm sitting at 282.40, so hopefully that will come out, and that will put us into about, we have about 30%, so it'll be about 20% left or so if we do get that fill, and that's momentarily. Palantir is just, like, I keep getting out of small amounts because it's all good. You know, this one for my stop was, I'm gonna get another piece here at 62. Like, my stop was about 70 cents away from this level, right? And so now the fact that 70 cents to give us 5 is pretty good, but we're gonna take out another piece. We're getting lighter and lighter. It's been a great morning. It's already 10:36. So yeah, that's a name that's been going too. ASST is one that we talked about. I'm going to throw it to Neil in a second. I just want to have a quick look for people. Ray, oh, you're going to look at this one? Okay,
it's fine.
Yeah, so I just saw it in the chat. So 640, couple halts, then a reopen right there at 640. Now trying to go back up. ASST.
And if you're going to find names like ASST or D-Wave or Palantir or anything that's moving, you're going to want a platform that allows you to trigger into the right trades, look at the right indicators, all in one spot, and that is eSignal. Best part, still a first month free, everybody. So take it, get it while you can. You try it out. You have highly customizable, adaptable, and versatile, reliable charting platform. Tick replay is fantastic. We have level 2 access, the imbalance locator. Pretty much anything that you're gonna want, you're gonna be able to get. And guess what? You can link it up to multiple brokers, so you can even trade directly through the eSignal platform. Get your alerts, set up your trades, back test your strategies, and do it all with the first month free. I did have ASST up here, but Coinbase, I might as well say this, if we break 100K, this is what we were looking at earlier on Coinbase. It was simply on a daily chart. Whoops. It was on a daily chart, and I'm going to go back. I just pulled it way too far away. A 210 break. Well, it's more like 210.5 breakout on Coinbase. There's your level 2 access there. You can throw up some screeners, which I was like trying to set some new ones up. I'll do that at lunchtime for sure. But nice little breakout opportunity on Coinbase. Already breaking through prior resistance and trying to get through 100K. I actually think that might be closer to the low 80s. more I look at it. But there's the push. We actually got close to the pre-market high. The pre-market high is 99.9, and that's 56.81 on IBIT. So it just tagged 74 and started to come back into VWAP. So I want to be a buyer off the volume-weighted average price here on IBIT and see if we can't continue that trend back into 100K. I think you break 100K, things like Coinbase and Mara and probably MSTR are certainly going to be working. Right now, Apple getting into this VWAP here and starting to curl. I don't want to get trapped in too early. I'd like it to set up a little better. Like when it pulled back before, like you had a good 10, 15 minutes to light the short. I don't think it's the kind of moment where I just jump in willy-nilly when the market's still been bouncing. I want to give it a chance to really challenge and get into the level that we had before, which is another 70 pennies from here on Apple. But I am looking for that short. We are reloading on IBIT if it does pull back into VWAP. If it doesn't, well, I guess that means we're getting to 100K first.
That'd be nice for sure. I was looking at some Cardano. I saw some Ethereum. I was thinking about getting some of that out and just flipping it into Bitcoin today. So I'll think about doing that, and I'll tell you if I do it during the afternoon. I probably will. I just believe in Bitcoin so much more than Ethereum. But although Ethereum's only at $2,000, and it's
the high is like 4.
Yeah, 4,200 or something like that. So there's a lot more to go in Ethereum, but I just don't know. I don't really think smart contracts are a thing right now.
It's too expensive, what people say.
Yeah, just no one's, I mean, I don't know. When's the last time I used like a D app or anything like that? I don't think people are doing that. So anyways, I could be completely wrong. So, and if I am, that's fine. At least I'll be transferring over into Bitcoin. I do have, whatever, I'm not going to talk about the positions, but I'm building a decent one in Bitcoin. So leave it at that. The last time we bought was 84, one at 84, then one at 86 dip buys there for crypto. So we did get, that was Bitcoin. I didn't get anything in the 70s. So there it is right there. You know, there's that 40 fill for us, giving us $3 there. Sorry, 250, almost 270. I want to be exact. I got Shreve beside me here, the professor. So I got to, if I'm going to be right, there it is. Yeah, so it's in the money right now, 265. So professor, we're sitting in some decent trades. But you know what's been coming back down right here is NVIDIA. So we've taken $1 on that one, but this has come right back in. And I told you this was our lightest position. So here it comes back into 1650. I'm going to stay away from this, honestly. We've already cashed out on it. On NVIDIA. It's been a good trade, but you know, I don't need to worry too much about it. We have less than 5% left of this position, and it's come right back in, and it's just not working out today. So we'll hold off on that one. QBTS looks like it was a decent out up there at 925. I mean, we zoomed out and showed you some of that level. And then, you know, we want to talk about some more things. Yeah, what's up to XRP Army? I mean, what is that even at right now? I'm long that at $2 as well. No, just 221 right now. So that's a small one. Cardano is, you know, rocking my baby on the treetop. When the tree breaks,
when the wind blows?
When the wind blows, Cardano will fall. I don't know, but anyways, if Bitcoin goes down, that stock, that went up to 110, by the way, during its heydays there. But we talked about this, man. You can go rewind to the show, and I was like, this will probably get to 114, but it got to 120 first. So that call was wrong, but there's a good level right back into their VWAP ARM. I don't know where it was VWAP at the time. Now, obviously, it's adjusted. ARM hanging out to the upside, which has been really, really nice as well. Shopify, what a day for Shopify. Let's go Canada right now. Trying to get green right now on the day. So there we go, man. Good move there for Shopify. Were you saying something about IBIT there?
No, I was saying buy that dip.
Oh, buy
Shopify.
that dip. Oh, buy that dip, yeah. I don't know why, Will. I used to really think that Cardano was hype, but again, just building all the smart contracts and stuff like that, I just think Bitcoin is something that, you know, for the store of value and for something that if you're going to put some serious money in, I think Bitcoin's fine.
They keep printing money, and there's only going to be so much Bitcoin. Yeah. That's enough for me.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the reason, right? I mean, some of these other coins have unlimited supply, so you do need a case, a use case.
You know what else there might not be as much of? Weight Watchers shares. Today, it's supposed to, no, they declared bankruptcy yesterday. So they're delete today. At some point, I'm going to get into this short and pay for locates. They're supposed to be getting deleted. At least from what I saw, they could be getting deleted today.
I should get less sleep and trade better like
potentially heading to, I don't know if they're going to go to the OTC soon or whatever. But yeah, Weight Watchers, we didn't really mention it because everything is bullish, and it's actually up 5%, but I'm only looking for something like it did yesterday, where just it trended up, and you wait, play a trend break, and then play the short. And we're going to go to Adara. I did not just get the VWAP dip buy on IBIT. I guess it didn't really come down far enough there, so we'll just have to be patient and wait for it, and go up to Adara for an update as to what is going on with this press conference that's not starting.
I have an update, and it's not the conference starting because it hasn't, but it's this comment coming from a UK official. So I'm just going to read the comment. This official here from the UK just saying that apparently President Donald Trump and Keir Starmer, Prime Minister of the UK, held a, quote, warm conversation on Wednesday night, and they will speak again this morning. Now, that does not answer the question of whether or not we're going to get a trade announcement this morning from Donald Trump. And just to clarify, this trade announcement, which was scheduled to start at 10 a.m., was heavily speculated, mostly because Donald Trump posted about it on Truth, to be about the UK. So this does not really give us a lot of answers here. Sounds like there are conversations between Keir Starmer and Donald Trump, but it's unclear if these conversations have led to any actionable trade announcement that Trump can give at 10 a.m. as scheduled. He is almost an hour late now. That stream has not started, but I am still listening to this AI Senate testimony from CEOs like Lisa Su and Sam Altman. Nothing really market moving of that, but I'll keep an eye on that. Here is this board of stocks. Health technology really weak here. Eli Lilly, AbbVie, Merck, all to the downside, but the rest of the market pretty strong. We are still slightly green on the day here. So Google, Palantir really helping out this technology services sector. Electronic technology being aided by AMD on earnings day 2. Retail trade kind of mixed, but Amazon holding up strong. We have producer manufacturing looking good. Energy, minerals, consumer durables, transportation, commercial services, and process industries. So there are some bright spots, but again, health technology pretty weak. NVIDIA red, and some of these retail trade and utilities names also to the downside today, guys. If I have any updates on Trump, I will let you know right away. Back to you.
The market will let
I mean, there's NVIDIA 116, Neil. I mean, there it is, man. There's a nice 50 cents. Let's go to the upside right now again, man, as we're just burning through shares right now. You know, we talk about this with gambling, man. When you're seeing the board, like we nailed that over, by the way, yesterday, Mr. Wilson, on that one. So that was another one. We'll props up for that one. Over 5.5 on the Leaf game, hit 7. But there it goes, NVIDIA. Again, another big move upside. I don't necessarily believe in this name today. It had a huge move yesterday, obviously on that chip news, and it's kind of giving it back today. Not the whole move, but we had punched long yesterday at 115.50 or so and ran this thing up to 117.50. Now here comes the pullback. So yeah, man, it's been a ride for NVIDIA shareholders and the stock, especially day trading this thing. So I'm going to get some more out right now, 37, 38, 39, 40s, just to get this thing out, top up of the day. This is going to now be, again, it's the same trade, but like, you know, we're just sort of piling on to what we've been doing, and it's been great. So there goes NVIDIA, nice move there to the upside. We did have a quick look at Shopify. As you guys know, CVNA, Carvana, another one of those names reporting. I remember when Morgan Stanley put this thing at $1. It was about $4 or $5 back then. And now it's a $300 stock. So whether or not you're invested in Bitcoin at 0 or this name at $1, these are been great investments, man. I mean, think about if you just put 1,000 shares into this thing at $2 or whatever it was when. I don't think it got that low. That was their price target. I think it got to like $3 or $4. But
I think it got under 3, I thought.
Yeah, so if you buy 2,000 shares there, right now you are $500,000 in the money on an investment that would have been $6,000. So nice move up there for Carvana. I mean, to have believed in this name, wow. I never even thought about buying look what I did, CNVA.
They said they were going bankrupt. I mean, it's like.
Yeah. And then you had, and then like I was saying there, then you had Morgan come through right there and downgrade this thing. Yeah, so there it was right there, $6, $5 or so. But I mean, it has a huge drop, right? So down there, about $3. That was back in, I'm trying to see that date there. So it's early 23. So, early 23. Anyways, let's say $5. Let's say, 355, I guess maybe, was the bottom there. But we're going to have to zoom in to find that exactly. So just what a ride for Carvana shareholders. Like, you probably never would have thought you could have got back up here, nor did I. And then now it's right back up.
Nobody thought that.
Nobody thought that. Well, yeah, I don't think so anyways. I mean, if you did, I mean, you would have sold anyways at some point. I don't think, like, if you're long $5, man, and this thing goes to $100, you know, I mean, I think I'm doing pretty good here, going 10 to 120.
I've never traded anything that was in the penny stock phase and not covered at when it goes double. Something. Cover half when it goes double. I feel like that's probably what a lot of people did, and then you hold the rest for the dream, because like Carvana is different. Like, it's not like buying an early stage company. You were buying something people thought was going bankrupt that came from $3.50 to $2. Like, it's a little bit different at that point. Like, you're hoping for like a squeeze. But with the market trying to bounce off the lows, right? IBIT's going to make a run at that high again. We didn't actually break this trend line. I did that thing where it broke heavily. So I got some in at 25 here, well, 27, doesn't really have the quarter, but it didn't really close underneath the trend line. So now it has a chance to close underneath that trend and underneath VWAP. If it does on Apple, then I think it makes a little more sense to add. Meanwhile, IBIT is making another run at the high. I'm trying to get in at VWAP again, but the high right now is about 99.7.5. which works out to 56.75. So next time it gets in the 70s, I'm going to get an offer out there, and then we'll go over to Adara again. We've got another update.
No update. I am eagerly awaiting any news on the press conference. But until we get any news in the press conference, let's talk about some money, shall we? This is the US dollar. I've talked a little bit about these attempts to kind of hold this bottom around 98,000 with higher highs and higher lows. And we're continuing that. We're also back above 100. So great look here for the DXY just one day after the FOMC meeting. Now, speaking of the FOMC meeting, I want to take a moment to look at the Fed funds tool to see what we're expecting for the June meeting. Currently pricing in about 80% chance here of a rate hold. Same thing we got last meeting and the few before it, but a 20% chance here of a 25 basis point cut. Now, this on its own is not interesting, but there's one aspect of this tool at the very bottom. I've talked about this a lot here. This bottom portion showing what the odds were a couple different periods ago. So 1 month ago on April 8th, 2025, no one was pricing in a rate hold. In fact, 50% of people were factoring in a 25 basis point cut, another 45.5% pricing in a 50 basis point cut, and a shocking 3.9% pricing in a 75 basis point cut. So when you compare those odds to today, when we are overwhelmingly seeing a hold of rates, pretty interesting how things can change in just a month. I always like to look at this aspect of the tool because it gives you not only where we are currently, but where we've been leading up to the current odds. So that is my take here on the CME Fed Funds tool. If I hear anything about this conference, best believe I will let you all know. Back to you.
Oh, man, it's too funny. Okay, so President Trump is now on the phone call with somebody from the UK. I think he's talking about quantum, because look at this play right there. QBTS continues to go higher. So we do like that one, and we do have to remind everybody that if you are gambling, I mean, I put on a trade yesterday on that over-under there at 5.5. If you are interested in also, you know, trading and then more trading, this might be the one for you. If you're looking for unbeatable odds in our biggest game, switch over to ProfitX's peer-to-peer platform where you set the price. No more one-size-fits-all lines, man. You make whatever line you want. It's like crafting your own strategy like we do right here, like the sticky note. With real-time trading tools, secure the best odds, track the action, and watch your plays come alive, like betting on OKC last night. I don't even know how much they won by. Experience total control at every step. ProfitX Sports Playing Reimagined. Use the code TraderTV to get 2% off. Wow. Like, we just reloaded, right? I mean, and again, this is just a sticky note trade. Go to Adara. Breaking news. And let's go.
Trump is finally here, about an hour late, starting this conference. He basically said that they've reached a breakthrough deal with the UK. We did hear earlier today, Telegraph reporting that some of these tariffs could involve a cut on car tariffs and almost 0% tariffs on beef. But let's find out what's going to happen here with the official announcement. Trump just said that the UK is going to be reducing non-tariff barriers. I'm keeping an eye on this. I'm watching the conference. I will let you guys know what Donald Trump and co have to say. Back to you.
Let's go, NVIDIA. But I mean, maybe he's going to talk about what's for lunch. All right. So here we go. Thank you, Adara, for that one. Today we did have chicken chorizo with a like an omelet style sandwich, which was pretty good this morning. Oh my gosh, it is one of my favorite lunchtime treats today. The proper lunch, some might say. Wow.
That means it's got to be fish and chips.
Close. Yeah, that would be cool if it was fish and chips.
You said proper.
There's no tariffs on fish and chips starting today, apparently.
Exactly.
With that. Oh, by the way, man, the fish and chips I had in London were. I went to the oldest fish and chip place in London. I'll find the name for you and put it there for everybody in, that's from across the pond. Hey, what's up, Brando? All right. Hey, today it's assorted sandwiches. So, I mean, for me, that is a props up right there. That's what lunch should be. Tuna salad, turkey for my guy over there with some cranberry relish, and then some Montreal smoked meat.
That's the one.
Yeah, that's the one. Crudité, we found out what that was, with buttermilk ranch and hummus. That is, some celery, some carrots, maybe a little bit of cucumbers. I love the cherry,
that was a turn.
Tomato. Yeah, because this market's going to fall down because this deal is going to be nothing. And then dessert squares and cookies. So as you guys noticed, we were starting to get out of this play there on NVIDIA. So okay, so they're just talking about the deal, but here comes this move down. If NVIDIA does break 116, we're out. We've already sort of talked about all of this. And this is the fear about any of these deals that we hear about, right? And that is that, sure, we get excited for them coming through, but what exactly are these deals? How are they helping these nations? And we will soon find out all about that. So I'm going to get out of another piece here on Tesla just because we've had that. Wow, I didn't even realize we got up to 284. I should have been up there waiting, but I was not. So here's a nice little drip down here on the S&P futures, including everything. So we don't have much left of anything, which has been a really good sort of blessing in disguise here. But we're still in. So here we go. Oh, now Switzerland wants to make a deal really badly. The only people that want to make deals really badly, I feel like, are going to be the United States, with all good intentions, I hope, there, because they want to get this figured out just as much as anybody else. Let's hear what Adara has to say. Steel, apparently a factor here.
Yeah, he's just mentioning here steel protections. He said that U.S. Treasury Secretary Bessent's upcoming meeting with China will be, quote, interesting. And he also, he said many meetings are planned and every nation wants a deal. But I want to mention here, apparently the details here with the UK have not yet been finalized. He said the details of the deal are being written up in the coming weeks, but, quote, almost everything has been approved. Sounds like we're getting some kind of commentary coming through right now. I'm going to keep you guys posted. But yeah, Donald Trump here talking about this deal. Back to you.
So there you go. I mean, he pulled the rug on everybody again. I mean, why say you have a deal and then now, once it's time to announce the deal, you delay it an hour and then you come out and say, no deal?
It's not funny, but I know it's not funny, but sometimes you just have to be able to chuckle about it a little bit here. So, whatever. We'll leave the comments aside about that. It doesn't mean that there necessarily won't be one, but there's just nothing's finalized. Hopefully we get the consistent deals done. But here's some of the wicks that just happened in the market. Like I was punching out underneath VWAP on Intel and didn't get it. I'm like, no, we reversed. So I basically punched out just above break even. And then Apple did a topping tail candle du jour. Like the first trade, which didn't break trend, it did that topping tail candle. I was able to get in, but above VWAP. If we continue this move down, then it needs to hold under VWAP. Right now, we're in the adjust to what we just heard from Trump mode, which is crazy whipsaw action. So I think you want it to settle down a little bit here. And then if we work into the short, let it be underneath the volume weighted average rate. That's a heavy volume candle and a topping tail at 197. So I want to be in this and look for places to add. IBIT, obviously, like everything else, like Bitcoin pulled right back. I was sitting at 60s. It just barely held the 50 level now. So I had just gotten some out there in front of the top. If we hold and close above VWAP, we can resume going into the long. But yeah, that was one heck of a turn. I don't wonder if ARM, ARM already broke this trend to the upside. Because ARM couldn't break 120 and put in a lower high. This one could be headed lower. But it wasn't a part of the original plan to be short that anyway. So Bitcoin's the only thing I reloaded long.
Okay, nice. We're almost done. So thank you again for everything, man. And remember, we're not... we're not trying to celebrate or anything here, any of these deals. We're just talking, it's not a political show. It's just that, if you're going to be trading off of said movements or whatever, you should be aware
have to be.
of all of this stuff. And just understand that like some of these stocks will just continue to trade the way they're going to trade. And that's why I think NVIDIA right now on all of this news is definitely not a long. We just made some money back though on picking something up. And we're long at 05s right now. And I've just been scalping this out in the 20s. Here comes more outs right now. I'm taking like 15, 20 cents on these and then I'm going to scram. I got 2 minutes, then we'll go put some work in at the gym. Then we'll come back and we'll hopefully see NVIDIA at 118, 119. Palantir, again, we got out of a little bit. We're very, very light on all of this. I'm just going to continue to use VWAP, which now I have to change the stop. It was at 1490. Now our stop on Palantir is 1570. So if this breaks down below, we have enough. Everyone's share size is going to be different. I have enough shares to still do some good moves here, but I'm still going to get out 115. What did I say that was? That's 115.70s. So we'll go 115.69er. We'll get out of a Hyundai P on that one if it does go back in. Tesla, quantum name. Like, look at QBTS, man. We're now $1.40, and I'll leave this one to the expert to my left there with Sharif, but QBTS, it's an $8, Sharif, this is an $8 name, and we're $1.40 in the money right there. But I have to tell everybody, like, we got stopped out. Like, once it broke $8 right there, we bought it, we stopped out. But then when it took $8 again, I was like, let's go. And then we went back into it, believed in this trade, believed in this idea, and that's what happened. So there it goes. Look, here comes NVIDIA. So again, a good talk about getting out. Like this is not a long, in my opinion. So we'll get out of that one, and that's that. So let's see. I'm even going to get out right now at 10s. Just take 5 cents because it keeps on bleeding lower. Look, if it rips, it rips. But right now, I'm only in 20% of my reload. So we're going to get out if this takes 115.80. We're out. So there it goes, man. I mean, Palantir, it's been a great day. I don't know if you want to recap.
We just wicked 20,000 up down on the NASDAQ.
Right.
Sorry, what did I type in SMCI? I had a reason for that, but it doesn't really matter. But we just wicked the top on Apple. I said we're in the malaise where you're deciding what's going to happen. So it didn't break VWAP down. No, I don't want the short above VWAP. We didn't break down. We ended up with a flat trade because we got some out under VWAP and then at 1-to-1, then we got out again above the top. But I'm going to settle down and just get out because even IBIT, which was so strong just there, just lost the volume weighted average price. So that's where it's been holding. VWAP, 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 and now you're underneath. So got to get out when you're underneath VWAP and wait to get the next opportunity out there. So right now the market's continuing its downward trend. I know I like Apple short. SMCI was something that I had written down this morning for a fade, but it's nowhere near the prices. I mean, I guess it did it at the open. So look, there's your tie after the NVIDIA. It's not the NVIDIA news, but the chip news, and it kind of did that wick. But it's not up there now. It might be a VWAP trade or something because look at the range it's giving you. I'll probably leave you with this. Like it's giving you the exact range that it put in the afternoon, where the lower high is your lower high and your wick top is the same wick top. So that would favor the short trade, and it could be a bit of a flat bottom break on a very weak trend here in SMCI. So very weak uptrend. If it breaks that, I'd look for a short. But if we get back above VWAP, which we are, I might jump right back into IBIT. I think that has a chance to get to 100K, and if it does, I'm going to be long into 100K one way or another, as I know Joe probably will be as well. So we'll be back at 2. For now, you've got Joey options and you've got Sharif. Go get them.